Oh my God, I need to work with some professionals here. Yeah, baby. Hello, I'm Brittany Arneson. I'll be here with Tevin and AJ. I know what you're thinking. You want to tune out because Tom Barnard is not here today. And I understand. I don't have a follow-up. That's actually how I feel. Completely understand.
Brittany's like, I didn't want to be here either.
Listen, Tom's dealing with some stuff. Nothing bad for his health. He just and we'll let him talk about it on Monday when he's back. And he just asked if we could do the show today. And we said, probably not, but we'll try. We'll give it our darndest.
We sure as hell are going to try our best. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're going to power through. It'll go fine. We got plenty of guests, so people don't have to listen to us talk too much.
Do we have to be Tevin, AJ, and Brittany? Our bat?
We'll workshop.
Okay,
yeah.
There's no wrong answers in the think tank, but you guys are making me feel like there's wrong answers.
TBA to be announced.
Right. We figured out at least 2 bad answers to the question.
That seems like an attack.
Progress.
AJ, right before we jumped on, after I'd explained to Tevin in detail who was gonna introduce and who was gonna not, he goes, "Should I say hi?" And I said, "You know that we just talked about intros and outros for 5 minutes."
Well, I wasn't sure if it was accurate because you did go through a rundown for yesterday's show as if it was today's show.
That feels like an attack on both me and AJ, but I'm glad we actually have a really good show. We have lots of far more talented people jumping on.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, in the 9 o'clock hour, we are going to do a contest. And I love attacking people. I love it. I don't know if you know that about me. And
I'm aware.
We're each going to bring a story and we then get to judge. And the listeners, you get to partake as well. You get to judge on 2 different parameters. Is overall the story, was it a good story to bring? Secondly, was it told well? End of list.
And winner gets another donut.
Winner gets another donut, of course. I do have to keep us in the know. Star Tribune just posted this at 7. Fire crews keep up attack on large blaze at vacant Kmart on Lake Street in Minneapolis. The building that once housed the Kmart store on Lake Street in Minneapolis caught fire well before dawn Friday, today, and continued to burn as daybreak arrived. Fire crews scrambled to the blaze about 5 a.m., and it continues to roar from inside the boarded up vacant building, sending large clouds of smoke hundreds of feet into the sky. Could you see this?
Yeah. So I did some investigative journalism this morning and went out to the site of Kmart and can confirm, yes, it is on fire. There are a lot of people out there, dumping water from fire trucks on there. But yeah, it doesn't look good. You can see the smoke from like miles away.
You know who broke that news for me? The one and only Chris Eggert. I was getting out of the shower this morning and I go ahead, I'm getting dressed, but then it's like, we're going to take a break because I'm still super tired. I was up late watching the Wild suck. And Chris Eckert's like, hey, a lot of flames going on over at Kmart. We'll have vids and pics coming up soon. On
it sounds like he's in bed still while you're getting ready. The way you're describing the story, it's like he's still just like talking to you like, honey, can you believe that?
I'm imagining like he called you personally and it's not on his newscast. He's just like, hey, AJ.
Still, how one of you gets up early and one of you stays in bed, like that's the kind of vibe for every relationship. It definitely feels like Chris Eggert is still in bed, keeping it going. Come back to bed, and you're like, honey, I gotta go to work.
Always just wearing those jewel tones. And
I'm really glad that a close friend told you that what was happening, AJ.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, he told me and his thousands of followers on Twitter. So super fun times.
That is fun. Do you have a TV in your bedroom?
No.
So you were like out in the main area watching TV?
No, I was
Twitter.
Twitter. I was scrolling on my phone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were watching the news.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, so you're telling me Chris Eggert not only is telling the news at the same time he's tweeting it?
Oh yeah, does that make him better at his job, or should he like more focus on like, hey, you're supposed to be on TV paying attention?
I don't know. Some people are impressed that I can write them back while I'm on show, and I go, please don't tell anybody that I did that.
Yeah, don't tell.
Like when the listeners are like, you emailed that during the segment, I go, please don't tell anybody.
Professionally, I'm supposed to do it during the break, but you're special.
Please don't tell anybody. I'll deny it happened. Yeah, I don't know. Chris Eggert would be wild because he's probably the most professional and also most unprofessional person I've ever met. But he goes on the news and he kills it.
Yeah. And it's always weird seeing news anchors not behind the desk, like, and seeing them be like real people, because you're like, oh, you actually can like express emotion rather than just like reading into a teleprompter all the time.
It's wild. At the Hubbard building, you'll walk around and you can tell who's news and who's TV from about a mile away. There'll be the most beautiful news people in the most immaculate outfits, and then there'll be like a gargoyle like me coming in,
sweatpants, yeah.
That like hisses at them and hasn't like had touched a product to her hair in a week or two. And you just go like, you're TV for a reason, and I'm radio for a reason.
Yeah. You get the bright lights, and I'm in like my little dungeon with the lights off, just talking into a microphone.
So, well, we'll keep you in the know about the Kmart thing, because I feel like hopefully they can take that fire down soon.
Yeah, I wonder what somebody had to just start it on fire, because it's not like there's anything going on in there. It's been vacant forever.
Well, that reminds me of my days up in St. Cloud. There's this bar called not the Red Carpet, but the Press. Excuse me, the Press. And the Press was like this corner bar. It was a staple of like downtown St. Cloud college life. It was the bar where everybody would go to. Like, it was press o'clock. That's like, okay, an hour and a half or so before everything shuts down for the night. Everybody just goes there, and it was wild times. But after I left St. Cloud, like the following year, randomly the Press burned down, but it came out that the owner committed arson.
Oh, dang.
For insurance stuff. So not only now is there a staple of the bar life in St. Cloud missing, but now we have to resort to like Cowboy Jacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not fun.
I'm so sorry for you and your loss.
A lot of memories.
Doesn't it blow your mind how often people don't get away with arson?
Yeah, because and I don't know how like arson investigators figure it out.
I literally
but it
couldn't
feels
know
like
less.
Every building that burns down,
they can tell.
They're like, yeah, that was arson.
Like, I can't even find my keys sometimes, and they're able to go into a burning building and go, this was caused by this. How?
Well, they just like walk in, I feel like, and they're like looking around, and it's like, okay. And then they pick up this little burnt thing, and they're like, this is the match that started the fire. It's like, how do you know that?
How do you know that?
How are you that good?
I assume it's like CSI, where they're like, they walk in and like, okay, the fire started over here.
Yeah.
Look, you can see the accelerant path, like go this way. And it makes no sense to me.
It makes no sense to me, because it's like, I don't even know. Like the other day I broke a glass, and I can't even remember. Justin's like, where is all the glass pieces? I go, I don't know. My own home. Like, I don't know. I don't have that kind of brain. You want me to be a full accountability of all the glass? If
I was like an arson investigator, I'd show up like on scene and be like, yep, it burned down. Like that's my report.
Another case closed.
I actually don't know how this started. How am I supposed to tell? Everything's burned.
Well, you see, what happened was it caught fire.
Yeah.
And now it's not here anymore.
I would always say faulty wiring, and then just
100% electrical fire every time.
Faulty wired.
Electrical fire. Or it was struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Electricians in the Twin Cities area would just hate you.
I know. Do you guys have Do you guys have a toaster? Is there a beginning place to start? I always assume a toaster would start a fire very easily.
Yeah, like you just pick up like the first appliance in the house that you can find and be like, yeah, this was what caused it here. Yep.
I'd be like, did they have Christmas lights?
Yeah, they left the air fryer.
That's not the one you want. Air fryer? Yeah, it's a wild thing to play. Do you know what an air fryer is?
Yes, do I know what an air fryer is?
Yeah, yes. But you can't leave an air fryer on.
No, all I said is you just find the first appliance that you can find.
I was worried that you said I left an air fryer on, and I was like, that's a wild thing to say. Those things are so loud. Like, good night, honey. Don't worry about that. Like that's not like the same as like the oven on.
No.
Which I've also done.
When I was little, my grandma left the oven on because it was like cold in the house and would leave the door open to like heat up parts of the house. It's like, Grandma, this is terrible. Like, don't do that.
There's nothing more terrible. So if you put it like, that's why I don't even let things go really low on the oven, because we have woken up in the morning and I go, I left that on all night.
Oh, I've left like a gas burner on before. Yeah, that's bad.
How the heck are you, Phil?
That is something that we did at our new townhouse like earlier this year, the gas burner thing.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying.
Yeah, I know. You go, I'm a monster.
Yeah, so here's what happened. We move into this new place, and we had like 3 or 4 so we moved in, loved the place, and we rent from a nice building, whatever. And And we had like 3 or 4 maintenance requests in the first week, and we felt like we were being, kind of like, all right, now we're the annoying people. We just hit them up for 3 or 4 different things in the first week. So let's just not contact anyone for a month or 2 here so they don't think that we're high maintenance. And then all of a sudden I get home and I can't remember like if it was me, if it was my wife, but like one of us had either bumped or left like the knob. It was just past off. It was between like off and low. So there wasn't even like a flame or anything, which is, I think that's the worst because it's just gas.
It's just spitting out gas at that situation. It's waiting to ignite. Yeah.
Right. So I walk in and it smells like eggs. And I'm like, oh God. Obviously. What? Yeah, I'm hungry. Clearly. Look at me, for God's sake.
For a smoke.
Right. So my first thought is, okay, this is bad. It's not supposed to sound like, it's not supposed to smell like this, right? And so I went and saw, okay, yep. The gas was definitely on for, we think, like 3 or 4 hours, maybe somewhere in that range. But now I'm thinking like, I don't want to like call for a 5th time about a maintenance thing, but this could like blow up the building. So I'm trying to weigh like, so I wound up just going on Google and trying to figure out like, what should I do? It says open all the windows. I did before I Googled it, I turned the overhead fan on, and I guess you're not supposed to do that because it could like electric spark. It could like.
I don't even know if you're supposed to be using your phone. Like that's how dumb I am.
You're not.
So
somehow I was using my phone right next to it. By the way, I'm like using my phone, Googling, and I'm like flipping on the fan, and it says don't flip on the fan. I'm like, well, should I turn it off now? I'm not sure. So we grabbed the dog. We opened some windows, we got out, we just like went away, and it was a snowstorm too. So we're just like in a car a few blocks down the street, just waiting for like 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, I felt like a total idiot after that.
Sounds
happened.
like an episode of like 1,000 Ways to Die.
Yeah.
I know. Phil, you're on borrowed time. Like you have to live your life like you're on borrowed time. Like go.
I know.
Just recklessly no.
That's like Final Destination. Like you cheated it now. So the next time you like walk outside, you're gonna see the truck fall over and all of a sudden it's just gonna be a domino effect.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where like I feel sometimes way too often like I'm 17 years old and don't know what to do in adult situations. And I don't know if it's just like a generational thing or if I'm just underdeveloped. I'm not sure, but
there's nothing that will make you feel that way more than reproducing as well, because you'll just have these moments where you're like, I don't know. Like the baby woke up this morning and was crying, and we're like, tummy ache. I just want to call my mom. Like I don't know why are you upset? Like so like I know exactly that feeling. I can like feel that every day where I'll like look at Gogo and I'm like, am I in charge of you? Like me? Sure?
It's crazy when you're a kid. You know, when you're like 10 or 12 or even like. I think when you get to your late teens, early 20s, that's when you start to really like unfairly question your parents, right?
Yes.
You realize when you're 14, 15, 16, you're like, you know what? Yeah, kind of a dumbass or whatever, right? But it's kind of rooted in like, insecurity and you're just teenage angst. But then you get to like your late 20s, early 30s and you realize, oh, you just see everyone for their flaws. But you assume for a certain amount of your time that adults just have a manual for like how to navigate everything. And then you become an adult and you're like, oh, no one really knows what they're doing in any situation. They're just making it up or Googling things.
I hope Gogo never listens to anything I'm on radio wise, because she'll just be like, my mom is an idiot. Like I'd go to work and be like, you guys, my kid bit 3 kids and I don't know how to solve that. And I had to act like that never happened ever in my life when I went to daycare. They're like, she bit 3 people and I had to act like she wasn't biting us all week. I was like, Gogo. That's crazy.
But what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to call the daycare and say, just a warning here. So my kid bit me 4 times. If it's a dog, maybe you say something, but not your kid, right?
So I just kind of walk in casually. I'm like, oh, side note, she's got a taste for human blood. She's into flesh lately. It's
a full moon too, so you might just want to be aware. Right after lunchtime.
On her or something like the Hannibal Lecter vibe. Phil, I'd be remiss to not mention AJ was talking about the Wild game and his heartache last night.
Yeah, so I didn't see the Wild game, but I did see Judd did a social media video complaining about Marc-Andre Fleury being the starting goalie. And so I guess my question, you got this 39-year-old legendary future Hall of Fame goalie on the team, and he's looked a little rickety, a few stretches here and there. Are we getting to the point where at some point we have to sunset, the near 40-year-old goalie here? Or does he just need a couple weeks to sort of get his bones ready to play professional hockey again?
Well, it's like when you have like an older pitcher, you're going to trot him out there against a really bad club. Like the Oakland A's, for sure. Get them on the mound. They're not going to hit the ball. And that's what Marc-Andre Fleury did the other night. They went up to Montreal. They took on the Habs. Nice shutout win, his first one of the season. He's a hometown guy, so it's like, it could be his last time ever playing professional hockey there. They wanted to give him the limelight. But then you come back home, the LA Kings are coming to town, an up-and-coming team. You have some former studs. Kevin Fiala's there. Cam Talbot, revenge game after they traded him away.
Oh, yeah.
Philip Gustafson. And so everybody was thinking, like, okay, it's going to be Gustafson, Talbot. Nice little storyline. No, they go with Fleury based off the performance against a bad team. And crazy enough, the better team scores more goals on him. I think he stopped only like half the shots in the first period. They were losing 4-2 at the end of one. He settled down after that, and there was 2 empty netters late, so that made it 7-3. But no, now you're going to have Philip Gustafson with a full week between games. So he played on Saturday. They lost against Toronto. He's now set to start against Columbus on Saturday. A full week for what should be your starting number 1 goalie. That's not the best way to do load management.
Yeah. I feel like too, it's like in hockey, you just have to find a way, because like half the league gets in the playoffs, and then if you can just get in the playoffs, you can do some damage. So it's hard to get really excited about October, November, December results in hockey. Just don't be in last place basically going into January, and you should be fine. So
yeah, it feels like every year there's this goalie just got hot, and so this team that we didn't think had a chance now all of a sudden makes this miraculous run. It's very rarely like chalk in the
and then that happens with teams, but just not Minnesota teams. Correct. Isn't that amazing how the 8 seed Kings 10 years ago, Jonathan Quick, their goalie, got hot. Why can't we just get like a hot goalie for 2 months in the playoffs one time?
Right.
Why can't we get a hot pitcher? Something.
Yeah. Or even last year with the Golden Knights, like they had Logan Thompson as their main guy after Robin Lehner got hurt in the preseason. And then he got hurt actually against Minnesota. He tore his meniscus. And then they traded for Jonathan Quick at the deadline. And then he kind of got hurt too. So they had Aiden Hill come in, who was a 6'5". He bounced around with the Sharks, and he was with the Coyotes and stuff. And, really was never okay, he's a backup. And then he goes on this MVP performance. I think he was the runner-up at the end of it, but he was just lights out. I don't think he allowed more than 2 goals a game. Every game he played in the playoffs, it was insane. So that never happens to the Wild. But you're right. There always is that one goalie that's just scalding hot.
Yeah.
I tend to think that hockey and baseball are very, very random once you get to the playoffs, unless you're a Minnesota sports team. Everyone randomly will just make a title run, unless the last 30 years, unless you're the Twins, the Wild, or the North Stars. Who did it? The North Stars did go in 1991. They got beat in the Stanley Cup Finals, but yeah, we can't even get struck by the lucky lightning bolt. Unfortunately, you guys do get a weekend off from Vikings misery. Monday night Vikings 49ers. So enjoy your fall colors. Enjoy whatever it is that you do on Sundays.
Yeah, we get prime time Monday night let down to look forward to, but it'll be fine. And I see you're rocking the Buffs shirt. Are you on the band? I'm 100% on the bandwagon with.
It's hilarious, dude. So what's funny is this is the luckiest shirt I think in terms of I've had this shirt for 8 years randomly. I just have random sports shirts that I use for wearing around the house or working out. And my mother-in-law was at the Denver airport literally 8 years ago, and the Buffs have been garbage for 20 years, right? And she's like, "Oh, this is a shirt that I think Phil would wear randomly," and it's been one of my go-to shirts.
Mother-in-law thing,
right?
Oh, he likes sports,
and I do, and I wear it, right? And then all of a sudden, Deion Sanders spins the wheel of teams that he could go and just randomly coach, and it lands on the Buffs. So for years, this has been an airport shirt, a travel day shirt, and I'll be at my dad used to live in Phoenix, anywhere out west. There's a lot of University of Colorado people roaming around. So Denver airport, go to Las Vegas, and I'll wear this shirt. every time I wear it out there. Go Buffs, and I have to act like I went to Colorado.
Yeah,
because I don't want to stop and explain like, oh, it's just like a shirt that my mother-in-law got me, whatever.
So I guess I'll take it back. You're not on the bandwagon. You're actually a day one.
Yeah,
dude, I'm an OG. I'm a Buffs OG.
Yeah.
I was there for the winless seasons.
No disrespect.
So wait, let's say we don't know what a Buff is. Let's just, for the listeners.
Hypothetically? Sure. Okay.
What is a Buff?
Sure. So the University of Colorado football team, the Colorado Buffaloes, have been one of the worst. So there's the Power 5 conferences in college football, like the Big Ten, although the Pac-12 is going away after this year. That's the conference they play in. So there's going to be only 4 conferences after this year. But of those top conferences, there's like 60 teams. Mm-hmm. The Colorado Buffaloes have been like the worst team for the last 5 years until Deion Sanders decided, I'm going to take that coaching job. It's a cool place, cool setting, mountains in the background. And they found a way to pay him like $10 million a year. And so he went in last year, and there's video of this. Like, he's got a social media team. They had like 75 players on their main roster. So he took the job. He walks into this room with these players, and he basically says, pretty much none of y'all are going to be here. I just want to let you know. Yeah. I'm bringing in all new players. This is going to be a Ferrari going forward. You guys are, whatever. I don't want to
a Nissan
take a shot at any cars.
Yeah.
So they came out of the gate this season. They literally won like one game against a non-conference team last year. They brought in 75 new players because you can do that now with like what's called the transfer portal. And they came out of the gate and they beat one of the top 10 teams in the country that went to the national championship game last year, TCU. And then they won their next game. So they're like 2-0. ESPN College Game Day is coming to town, and Deion's got all these celebrities coming to Buffs games in Colorado.
Oh my God, this is a wild story.
Then the wheels kind of came off. They got smoked a couple times. Last week, I think they had a 29-0 lead on Friday night at halftime.
Against Stanford,
Against Stanford, who's terrible. And they blew the 29-0 lead, and then SNL did a skit with Kenan Thompson playing Deion Sanders like, hey, this is great. Didn't you blow a 29-0 lead last night? He's like, nah, that doesn't matter. We're all wearing Rolexes.
Yep. The Colorado story is incredible. And like, because Colorado was so bad, I remember that at NDSU when we went and played them at Colorado, NDSU was favored because Colorado was so bad.
Dude.
It was like
the Division I AA versus
1AA team. Yeah.
So Brittany,
go Buffs. Go Buffs.
Brittany, this is last year after he took the job. He's going in. This team is 1-11 last season, right? And there's probably guys that just went in there like, I'm a long snapper. I can go and then say I played Division I football and all this stuff. And they're sitting in this room after their season, and Deion is like addressing the team for the first time.
The position's already taken care of because I'm bringing my luggage with me. And it's Louis. Okay. It ain't going to be no more of the mess that these wonderful fans, the student body, and some of your parents have put up with for probably 2 decades now.
Not the parents.
Okay.
I'm bringing my luggage, and it's Louis.
It's going to be changed.
Oh my God.
There's going to be change.
Best story I've ever heard. It's like a Real Housewife coming in to to coach.
Yeah, he like literally gathers everybody in the team meeting room and is like, I just want to let all of you know that you're not good enough to play here.
And you've disappointed the student body and your parents
and
for
your
2 decades.
Yeah.
Not the parents. Like,
you're a failure. Your family thinks you're a failure. I know you're a failure. And this will be the last day that you step foot in this meeting room.
And because all the other coaches in like college football, they kind of like tiptoe around like the transfer portal. Yeah. And Deion will be like, after a game, like the center will like miss a snap and he'll be like, transfer portal's open. Like we're taking whoever wants to come in here.
I'm so glad that's not like Tom's not doing that for our jobs, because he'd be like,
transfer portal.
Why don't you bring your stuff home today?
Yeah, dude, it is hilarious because he got drubbed. There's 2 games where like they got smoked by USC and another team, and a reporter was asking after one of the games like, hey, you got off to this hot start and now you've kind of stumbled, and Deion was like, you better get us now, because this is the worst we're going to be. We're bringing in all the top recruits. We're bringing in.
Oh my God. Oh, Phil, thank you guys for telling me all that. It was absolutely a wild ride we just went on.
And like the best part is because Colorado, like they play a lot of late games, and so their games will get done at like 2:30 in the morning, but the ratings are just through the roof. So like all these people that had nothing to do with Colorado for all these years are like, yeah, we're staying up to like 3 o'clock in the morning to watch this game going over.
Yeah, can your mother-in-law get me a Go Buffs shirt when next time?
Okay, cool. She'll find another random school that's been dormant, like Toledo or something.
Maybe she's the good luck charm.
Yeah, Brittany, big fan of Tulsa football.
Huge fan. Been for years. Thanks so much, Phil. We'll see you on Monday.
We'll see you Monday. Yep.
We are going to be back. We're going to have Chris Eggert. He's going to tell us what's going on. I'm sure he'll know more about the fire that's going on on Lake Street Kmart. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning to the show. I've known Steve. I've known him for maybe it's probably been like 5 or 6 years. We went on a bunch of trips together for work for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because they're service experts and experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need when they need it at the fair price. Keep your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. And heads up, one time, this happened twice when they fixed our heater that just completely went out. I was on a walk both times because I forgot they were coming. And they were like, can we go in your house? And I said, yeah, but there's dogs. And the technician was like, I love dogs.
Amazing.
And that's all I need to know. Whenever you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine 5.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialki from Bialki Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, ride a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialki Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkilaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
Hey guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen. Just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain and no downtime afterwards. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissues. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque and improve blood flow to the penis. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and free consultation when you book today. This savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to use code TOM so we get credit for sending you. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you.
Hey, yeah, baby. We are here with Chris Eggert. News is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh for your free 48-minute financial evaluation. Chris, what the heck's going on Lake Street?
Well, circle of life, I guess, on the old Kmart there.
Is that how Kmart's work?
Hakuna Matata. Well, it's on fire, obviously. We got the word probably this morning. It was about a little before 4:30, I think, when we heard the fire had started and they started calling out a bunch of crews. We had an overnight photographer who was close by. He got there right away, and it was, a really substantial fire. It's burning on the back side of it. So that's toward downtown. Actually, the storefront where where the Kmart storefront was that faces Lake Street. It's on the opposite side of that. We just had our chopper up over it a minute ago. What's crazy is it's been burning for like 4 hours now, and it doesn't even look like it's even hardly not even a third of the building burned. Like, that's how big those, you don't think about how big those, like a Kmart or a big box store is.
Yeah.
So it's been burning for quite a while, but there's still most of the structure still standing.
Dang. And then were they worried about it jumping or anything like that? Like, what about buildings close or no?
Most everything's been cleared away from that site at this point, because there's, as anybody who's lived here for a minute knows, like, there's been all kinds of discussion and debate over what was going to happen with that site. And a lot of it got destroyed during George Floyd stuff. But the building that building has endured all kinds of stuff when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's amazing that whole area burned down during the George Floyd protests and stuff. But Kmart was just fine. But now it's on a random Friday morning, it's up.
Yep. And they ended up using that Kmart I think they used it for like a mail distribution, because the post office got burned down during the riots. And so, like, that Kmart found another use there in its later years. But they just, I think it was this last week I brought this up, that they're starting the planning meetings with the public about what to do with the site and what the future is going to look like, and yada, yada, yada. So, I guess this whole thing will be fast tracked a little bit.
And
is there any indication on what caused the fire?
The fire department just had a news conference about 20 minutes ago. And the first thing anyone asks is if it was homeless people, because it's a pretty well-known area to house people. And she did concede that would be one of the things they're looking into, but she didn't, the spokesperson who was up or who was talking didn't blame it specifically on homeless people. So that's one of the things they're looking into. So we'll see.
As of now, there's nobody's been hurt by it, right?
No. What else was I going to say that was noteworthy about that? I was just reading a little bit more before I came out here. So the city of Minneapolis bought that way back in the day and had intended on building this big fancy indoor mall type situation with sports courts and all kinds of crap. They had huge aspirations for that site, and they were never supposed to close Nicollet Avenue off there. And so apparently what Kmart needed in order to have the footprint they needed, they had to close Nicollet, which has been the people's problem with it all along, because that was a road that, it was such a important north-south artery in the city. And when that got cut off, it kind of just, a lot of people are it did really weird things for the neighborhood. And it's, I just read a quote in NPR article from last week that said, some people said that was the worst sort of economic real estate decision the city of Minneapolis has ever made.
Dang, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, which is crazy, because then they ended up buying it back. So the city paid a bunch of money for it in the first place, and then bought Kmart out of its lease early to get the property back. So they basically paid for that site twice, which is also pretty insane.
That is
Yet
insane.
there it sits.
I'll say, and what's the holdup for doing anything with it? Is it just trying to vote on getting everybody essentially just to agree what to use that space for?
Yeah, right now, I mean, it's like anything in the city of Minneapolis, that nothing seems to be able to get done quickly with sort of the political landscape where it is. It's just like the 3rd precinct. They're trying to figure out a place to build the new police headquarters, which covers that neighborhood too. I think they started like the public input part of the process about what to do with the site. They just had an open house there last week. And one of the things that is out there right now is opening the road up and like building some green spaces and, park type stuff along there. But nothing definitive at this point.
Well, thank you for keeping us in the know with all that. We've got a listener who wrote in, Margaret. I'm going to butcher this, but they said that, can you ask Chris about the Orionids? Oh, thank you.
Orionids, yes. We're supposed to be able to see them Sunday, I think. So that's a meteor shower. I think they're supposed to be pretty predominant on, I think, Saturday night and Sunday.
Okay.
Is what we had this morning. Apparently those are leftovers or part of Halley's Comet, which doesn't come around all that often. And I think doesn't come around again until like 1960 or 2062.
I'll probably be the only one still alive then.
Yeah, I definitely will not be here then.
That's just gruesome. What's happening to me and AJ?
I don't know. I just feel like I live a safer, happier life. You guys are high risk.
You guys will all still be here.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. I won't.
We'll be doing the show in 2062.
I don't know.
I
No
saw
promises.
them both eat donuts like it was going out of
Okay, first of all, the only reason you didn't eat a donut is because I have to let my tummy feel a little bit better this morning. So, like, you're about 5 minutes away from having a donut as well.
I'm just an old person. I have to wait a little bit in the morning. Can you down a donut right away, Chris?
No,
right?
No, but I did just do something I'm not proud of. I jumped over here to the old Hubbard cafeteria, and they happen to have one of those. I'm not going to call it charcuterie because it's definitely not that, but one of those things, like basically is an adult Lunchable with the ham and the cheese and the crackers. And I just tore into that. And like, I was so hungry. This was like 7 a.m. And like the first 5 bites were like, oh my God. I was like, Cookie Monster.
Yeah, they're dead.
Falling all over. And then I just felt gross and dirty. And I took it into the studio and left it for everybody else. And I just got a text. Did you leave this adult Lunchable for us?
Who left this garbage on the table?
So I will do a show until 6 p.m. there. And I eat dinner early. Like I like to eat, like sometimes we feed Gogo at 5:30 and we eat, or like 6 is the latest. So when I work till 6 in that building, I'm miserable. At the 5:30 mark, I'm starving. So I'll go down to my car and I go to that little like grab and go station, and there's nothing left. Like I would kill for a charcuterie thing. So sometimes this is so bleak. I'll get the homemade, the bumblebee tuna. And I'll just eat it so hardcore in my car before I drive home. And then I'll get rid of the evidence before I go home to my family.
And then you walk and you're like, hi, honey. And he's like, what died in your mouth?
It's so bleak. It's like,
because
it's like a little tin can you're eating in your car. It's so lonely.
What are you, a cat? Like you're just eating cat
it's
food.
So bad because
can.
nobody leaves me anything. They like, that's why Chris Egger is starting to eat the charcuterie at 7 a.m. All the good stuff is rest in peace, gone. Yep, that's exactly it. That is the
No. Oh my gosh.
Wait, are there is it cans that are in there?
Yeah, it's like, so he's showing you right now. It's like there's a little can in there, and it comes with these super good crackers that are like, like kind of like knockoff Ritz. That's you've shamed me enough. Put it away, sir.
Look, it's a snack on the run! Exclamation point.
That looks terrible.
It is like, it's like my appetizer, but that's the only way I can get home sometimes. And Chris it's not my fault. You eat the charcuterie stuff at 7 a.m. There's
This is
nothing
better.
left for me.
Well, that's fair. That thing is never, that whole charcuterie, it was like a size of those platters that like you get at Cub and take to somebody's house you don't really like and you don't want to really commit to a full, like decent, well done meat and cheese tray. You just grab the crappy one and you take it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it's going to look like you stole that on the camera.
Yeah, I know. The guy is actually over there refilling it right now too. So I'll be right back.
Go put it back.
He's
Because
like, this weird
they
news
do
guy
film you.
stole the.
They film you because you have to pay for it yourself.
Yeah.
And they're always like, heads up, you're on camera, as we're all a bunch of, thieving.
Sticky fingers. Yeah. Well, I frequent that little like station store way
Same.
too often. I've
Same.
been doing Saturdays and Sundays for like 4 years now. It's like sometimes they're good stuff and they restock it. So they're restocking it now, which explains why sometimes there is decent stuff on the weekends.
Oh,
but other days they just won't restock it.
I know.
And so I resort to the charcuterie and the like. It's just terrible.
Are you eating tuna out of a can like Brittany?
No, I'm not. I don't
There's
sleep that long.
there's so
You can
many
think
tuna
ahead,
things.
Brittany.
I know that's the
Like
problem.
you could go there before the show starts
Or-
to get a good snack.
Or even like know thyself. Like I could bring a snack for the car ride home. Like I'm a planner. Like at this point,
Apparently not.
but every time I go, I'll be fine this time. Like I don't need a meal before the 30-minute drive home. But the panic that ensues when I'm about to get in my car and know that there will be 30 minutes and I go home and Justin has dinner ready. So it's like, I just need to get home. So like, I should just throw an apple in my purse or something, but it's panic. It's like, if I get in this car without a snack, I'll die.
And then you walk in the door and he gives you a kiss and he's like, were you eating cat food?
Just
I would be more like, that would be actually more appropriate. We're like, oh yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened. It was a survival thing or whatever. But like, it's so embarrassing. Like if somebody saw me in the parking lot, like I'm just so glad everyone's
just
gone.
shamefully scooping tuna
Yeah, it
into
just
your
gives you this
mouth.
little spoon too. And you're just like, I hate my life.
Hey, Chris, I know you got to go here in a couple minutes, but Carlos wrote into the show. He wanted us to ask you if you know about any Day of the Dead parades that are going on in the Twin Cities.
We did bring that up. Crap. I don't off the top of my head, but let me look. We're planning a segment about it on Minnesota Live, the 9:00 show. So it just came up in the last couple of days. Let me look.
Wait,
Okay.
is the segment today?
No, it's not today. I think it's next week. So
I really want to ask you how Hannah did yesterday.
she was good. She was really good.
Just
She's just so dang nice. That,
She's so cute. And did anyone mention jewel tones to you?
no, and Hannah wasn't aware of it either. So I taught her the jewel tones thing.
What is wrong with you people?
Nobody says jewel tones.
I need listeners to write in and attack you guys so badly. Like, and people know what jewel tones is. My mom was like, how do they not know what jewel tones are? It's a whole color palette.
November 1st and 2nd. I'm looking. October 28th from noon to 3. There's a Day of the Dead celebration at Midtown Global Market.
Oh, fun.
From noon to 3. Yeah, that's the only one I got right here in front of me, AJ. So I'm not sure beyond that. But I will have an answer next week. I know that's not helpful.
That's fine. You know,
Yeah.
we can talk about it then too.
It looks like there's some sort of festival going on November 4th. I don't know. If you go to Minneapolis.org calendar holidays, they have a bunch of them listed.
Carlos, I hope you feel heard and appreciated.
Yes. Sorry, Carlos. I'd like to be able to get you answers more quickly than that. I failed.
If you do go to Midtown Global Market, there's a guy that will fix your phone screen for under $100.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
You
Every
could
time
also get a camel burger there.
A what? A camel?
Dude, the food at the Midtown Global
It's
Market
insane.
is super good.
It's
Oh,
so
it
good.
is. It's awesome. You spend days there just
I know.
eating.
And your stomach is like, where are we? Because you can grab like an egg roll, then you can go and get like a Korean dish over
Yep.
here, and then you can go and
Like
get
it's
like
soul
Greek food. And your stomach is like, what country are we currently in? This is amazing.
And then at the same time, like, you can go downstairs and renew your driver's license because there's
Yeah, isn't that weird?
oh, I've had some times at that DMV. I have some, that you're gonna wait.
Oh, you absolutely.
You're gonna have some waiting. The wait time on that one is wild. So you will be spending both lunch and dinner money at the Midtown Global Market.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's better than the one that's out in Chanhassen. I'll tell you that right now.
Shut your mouth. That's an amazing one.
Oh, the one behind the
the Target.
Mm,
Are you kidding me?
How are
That
you
has the
this passionate?
drive-through.
mm.
Did you go through the drive-through? Because that's what you were made
No.
a big mistake. Okay.
No, I got, you know what? The last time I went to go do that, they were closed. So that was on me.
Yeah, that is
Not
on
their
you.
fault.
They're lovely there.
It was
During
like
the
a holiday. And I'm like, yeah, dumbass. It's Christmas. You can't go and get your driver's license renewed.
I just need time away from my family. No, they're amazing. I love them. During the pandemic, my mom sold me her Corvette, and there was like nowhere to
Brittany's
get.
rich.
No, I said sold. I didn't say give.
Oh, nice flex.
Beverly's rich. Beverly gets laid all the time with her Corvette. Well, she did.
That's a weird thing to say about your mother.
Hey, get some.
That's your mother. Show some respect.
Right. Beverly's
What more respect can I get that my mom pulls in Major D?
Okay.
How's that not respectful, Beverly?
Wow.
So I went to the DMV and they were like, I went so early that I was the first one in line at the drive-thru because they wouldn't see people. And the guy was like, yeah, we'll have you come in. And so I wore they got everything figured out and it took forever because they had to do all the social distancing stuff. But they were super nice. So
yeah, it was no reflection on that specific location. I do have the Ridgedale one is the worst.
I'm trying to remember. Yep. It used to be bad. Have you been there recently?
Yeah, it was 3 hours.
Oh. Because did you do your appointment in advance?
No, it was my kid's 18th birthday, and all he had to do was go and get a 3 hours there. He was loving that on his 18th birthday.
I had to get Gogo's or her birth certificate there or something with that. You know, I can't even remember. But if you do an appointment in advance, I was in and out of there in like 10 minutes. So probably on Dakota that he probably should.
I don't think we could get one for that, honestly.
That makes sense.
But also, that's like a rite of passage for your son. Like, if you get your license or something, you got to sit in the DMV for 3 hours just because that's what we do.
Welcome to being an adult there, Junior. Get used to this, sitting around and being angry for the rest of your life.
Yep. Well,
just like the old man.
Well, thanks, Chris. That was an amazing report. And that news is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh for your free 48-minute financial evaluation. We will be right back, and we're going to have Bob. But first, we're going to go to AJ. AJ, what's going on?
Well, guys, hey, it's AJ here for our friends over at K&L Surplus and Ammo. Remember that K&L Surplus and Ammo is your one-stop shop for all firearm-related products and is the preferred choice among trap enthusiasts and waterfowl hunters for over 25 years. And that's including myself. You know, I'm a waterfowl trap enthusiast. K&L is an authorized SKB shotgun dealer, and they have a huge selection of youth models as well, and have a huge selection of trap loads to pair with that. Fall hunting is here, so head to K&L Surplus and stock up on waterfowl loads. K&L now has a lot of calibers that have been hard to find and now have them in stock, so that is the time to stop in and check them out. K&L Surplus and Ammo is veteran owned and offers first responder and veteran discounts. Even more of a reason to stop by this fine establishment. Check out this. Mention this show, the Tom Barnard Morning Show, and receive a 10% off discount on anything in the store. That's right. Anything in the store. They have to, on that, just mention the show here. K&L is also committed to safety and is a licensed FFL retailer. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus is, and Ammo, has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go to www.knlgunstore.com.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to Me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did, and tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Tom here, and I just read a success story from MN Fat Loss client Elizabeth, who just completed the program. Elizabeth writes, I'm a 54-year-old woman who has struggled with losing weight. I had almost constant heartburn, trouble sleeping, brain fog. I tried counting calories, eating bars and shakes, and several other programs in which I would lose 5 to 10 pounds after months of struggling. After 60 days of the MN Fat Loss program, I was down 25 pounds. MN Fat Loss had really empowered me to believe that I can control my eating and my weight without having to sacrifice foods that I like. If you're thinking about finally committing to improving your health, this is the time to start. You won't regret your investment in yourself. It's so easy to see if MN Fat Loss is a good fit for you. They offer a free phone consultation to learn about the program. They also have virtual options to help you if you live far away, which I think is a brilliant idea. To schedule that free phone consultation, go to mnfatloss.com. The only thing you have to lose is that unwanted weight. That's www.mnfatloss.com. I cannot wait to hear about your success story. And please let them know that Tom sent you.
It is time for Bob Sansevier Sports, brought to you by Bielke Law Firm. Heard at work? Dave Bielke goes to work for you. Taking care of your workers' comp injury claims and denials, go to BIALKE law.com. Tell them Bob and Tom and Brittany sent you. What's up, Bob?
So I thought you were going to say it's the welcome back to the Brittany Arneson show.
Yeah.
You're running things. Is Tom's taking the day off? I hope he's not ill.
No, he's not ill. He's taking the day off. He just needed a personal day. Yeah. So,
but we are looking to rebrand the show.
No, we're not.
So we're going to hopefully get it renamed by the end to Brittany Arneson.
No,
Brittany
please, you guys are kiss of death.
Our names have no recognition whatsoever. Even if Tom were to stop doing the show for good, we're still keeping the name.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. We're death gripping to that name.
Yes, absolutely.
That gets us in so many doors. Do you want to advertise with the Tom Barnard show? We didn't promise any Tom Barnard.
No.
Well, if you change your last name to Sarneson, I can get you one of these hats and you could start calling it the BS show. Much like mine.
Yeah, I that's obviously the free hat is the biggest.
Yeah, everybody wants a hat.
That's obviously why I would go to and get my social security changed and everything. It'd be perfect.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about places to go for. I always thought the one in Golden Valley was pretty quick. I haven't gone there in several years, but for the DMV, that's what you were talking about, right? With Chris Eggert?
Where's the Golden Valley one?
It's not far from where the old KQ station used to be.
Yes, I've been to that one. That one is delightful. They actually have candy at that one, which is weird because it's not the DMV vibe. It's small, but they're quick.
That's what I thought too. And there's others too. I mean, Wright County is not. It's they're very nice, but there's a long. You have to take it's like taking a deli counter ticket. Are they all like that? The ones you go to?
No, the one that Chris Eggert was talking about over by the Ridgedale Mall. There's a number system.
Yeah,
and that one. But I'll tell you this: it depends what you're going there for, and if you get an appointment. I got an appointment, and I was in and out there. But it was something that I don't think they have just like a designated line for. So I think I was in my own line.
All I know is it is so long there that they actually have like a coffee area and like a deli area. You could buy a sandwich just because you're going to be there for hours.
Oh, the Midtown Global Market one that we were talking about, you will drop $50 because the food's so good and you will be there for about 6 hours. So enjoy yourself. Like unbuckle your pants and hang out.
I might do that now.
Hey, why not? No, I agree. And it's funny how like that is probably my biggest concern. Like I used to drive to Woodbury because I knew that the Woodbury one barely had anybody there and my parents lived there. So I would just drive like 45 minutes to go quickly to the DMV.
Was that your stud mom who lived in Woodbury?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, just getting massive amounts of D from her Corvette.
It's from my stepdad. She's getting the D, but she just looked cool all the time. So my
slanging it,
just getting D down.
He doesn't need Twin Cities Premier Health.
I got to be honest with you. There's not a lot of conversation that makes me uncomfortable.
My
when
mom
somebody is talking about their mom, it makes me a little uncomfortable.
Why? She's a beautiful woman.
No
Sorry,
one said she
Beverly has a
wasn't.
satisfying sex life.
Is she going to be reaching in to give you coffee? Did she come with you to the studio?
I wish my mom was here. She's
By the
so
way,
much
you
more-
need to travel with that wedding gown, and every shot you're in, it needs to be over your shoulder.
It's your calling card.
Yeah, it shows you that I'm such a put together.
Yeah, you never know when a wedding's gonna pop up in your life.
I don't know if I could fit in it. That was like, I would be a tight dress, but I'll try. Maybe
We'll
I'll
stand
try.
up here. We'll tell you if you'll fit in it.
Yeah, let's judge Brittany's body.
Oh God, look at you. You're a rail.
Thank you. I feel so. Speaking of, I heard the Wild got railed last night.
Oh my God, when they lose, they do it in spectacular fashion.
Yeah,
The state of hockey is in a state of not trouble. They're 2-2.
Yeah, that's not that bad, you guys.
7 goals. AJ, what's the story with your team?
Well, two of them were empty netters, so I don't usually like for
You don't
bettors.
count
They
those?
love it. Well, I count them obviously, if you're a betting man, Bob. But when it comes to the goaltending star, we talked about this with Phil earlier, and I was talking about this with Judd last night. We did a live show, kind of recapping the game, but it was a very peculiar decision to go with Marc-Andre Fleury because he had that nice shutout win over Montreal. But the Kings are just on a different level. They're a much better team. They have a lot more scoring. They're a more well put together squad. And Flower looked rough in that first period. He only stopped half the shots he faced. A couple of them the first goal of the night, first shot of the game for the Kings was it was something that he should have had. He just didn't look like he was in place and almost was behind the play, behind the speed of things. Another one was a Pierre-Luc Dubois. He was kind of getting bodied off the puck and tried to kick it forward to his stick, but then it was just clumsiness all around, and it just kind of slowly coasted in on goal with chaos around it and went right through the
He
wicket.
scored twice in 12 seconds, which is pretty
Yeah.
damn impressive.
I can't do anything in 12 seconds. Like anything.
Tevin can do a lot in 12 seconds.
Hey-o.
Sometimes that's all you're going to get is 12
Yes. Guys can do plenty in 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Not my man. I don't know. I'm sorry, Justin. I try to leave Justin's penis out of this.
Was that too long for him?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to go with that.
All right. Now let me ask all three of you.
Yeah.
Are you gonna? Because I went and saw it yesterday. It was like a spur of the moment. 3:00, Killers of the Flower Moon. I wanted to see it because Scorsese makes great movies.
Yeah.
And I did see it. It could be shortened a bit, maybe, but the acting is unbelievable. It will sweep the Oscars, I think.
Really?
You think so?
What I wonder is, will they try to get De Niro as a supporting actor? Because only one could win if they're both up for actor. Because DiCaprio reminded me of Marlon Brando in The Godfather because he had that upside down smile, the frown with it looked like he had stuff in his jowls, and he talked like that. But he was terrific. So was De Niro, and this woman who's new. She played the Native American wife of DiCaprio. She's off the charts good. And clearly, you're going to get. Scorsese will win Best Picture and Best Director. It'd be hard to believe unless they really go nuts with these independent and feely good movies. I just thought it was overall just terrific.
Really? Like that good? And you said it's 3 hours?
Long though, 3.5 hours plus.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a little long for me, but I'll wait for Tim Lammers. I think he's going to talk about it today, and we'll see what he says, and then I'll go.
Well, I broke a record. I went 3.5 hours without having to get up and take a leak.
I actually did
normally
that
with a large diet drink will put me over the top, but 2.5 hours tops.
I shocked myself. I went to the Batman movie while pregnant and just decided to dehydrate myself so I could not go to the bathroom. I really want to see this movie. I really want to see Flowers of the Killer Moon, but I kind of want to read the book. Everyone keeps saying how good the book is, but they say you have to see this in theaters, or can I quickly try to either read or listen to the book?
No, don't just watch the movie. I think it's a great ending. I love the way they ended it. I won't tell you and spoil it, but just watch the movie. Here's the reading the book thing. I saw Field of Dreams and I read Shoeless Joe is just too wordy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I even finished it
Most
because
books
it's
are
not
wordy.
like the book.
Yeah, I think they rely on
Some
that.
aren't. Actually,
books are words.
The
Yeah.
Godfather was phenomenal. The book. I mean, I love the book, and that's why I was excited when the movie came out.
And
I
did
was
it
young,
match?
but it was terrific. Yeah, both of them were terrific.
So my probably favorite adaptation ever was Jurassic Park, because they like I do believe that was the one time where I go, the movie in my mind was better than the book. But that's rare that happens. I just want somebody who's read the book to see the movie and tell me that they match, because then I'd be fine with skipping the book. But everyone talks about how amazing the book is.
Well, I think it might have been the Maltese Falcon. I think it was, where the producer gave the book to like his assistant and said, just take the book, all the words in it, to make it into the movie. Because they just basically took the book, used the same dialogue, and it turned out it's a classic.
Yeah.
So there are ways that you make it right off the book, it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I like that.
But also, Apple Plus will have this out within 2 weeks, because they're behind the financing. So it's gonna be a few. They're in the theater. I think Lammers is the one who told me this. It's in the theater so it can qualify for the Oscars. Because it's a lot easier. But it will be on Apple Plus. Now, I'm not sure. Is Apple? I know you could pay for Apple Plus, but they do like Amazon Prime and Max, where you have to rent it if it's relatively new into theaters.
Yeah, they do a lot of the like paywalls for certain things, and I would assume this would fall in that.
We pay enough though.
Do you feel like this has to be seen in theater, or do you think it was better experience in theaters, or could it totally be fine on your own screen?
No, it could be if you don't have like a little 4-inch screen. Yeah, it could be fine.
Okay.
No, I think you'd like it either way. It's not like this vast sprawling type of movie. Like if you most people have seen Lawrence of Arabia on the TV. I went when the Uptown was significant. I went there and watched it, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just because it was meant for the big screen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say this one was.
Hell
of a movie though.
It's hard that 3-hour chunk is hard to
3.5 hours plus
3.5 hours. Like that's hard, because like Gogo's naps too. So even when I went to the Eras tour last week, I went during her nap, and I still missed out on like an hour of her being awake. And like that's a long time.
Wait for Apple Plus, then you watch 2 hours. She gets up the next day. You finish watching.
That's probably what we'll do. And I think I'm going to go to the Eras tour one more time. The video.
What is it?
The Taylor Swift one.
Why?
Oh my God.
Here's the thing. This is what the secret I'm going to do.
Ugh.
So I found a really late showing, and I'm not going to say where.
You don't want everyone else to rush.
Right.
I want to be the only, me and my friend Devin want to be the only two at a theater, and we're just going to jam out. It's late at night.
Your friend Devin or Tevin?
Devin.
I will not be attending the Eras tour.
It's my friend Devin, and she and I went to the concert together and to the movie together, and we both found right now this late showing has 0 other people going. So if we can get a whole theater to ourselves to like act out the whole Eras tour, that would be worth. I would have to be up till midnight. That's how late this is.
Okay, context clues.
I'm gonna figure it out, and we're gonna buy out the rest of the tickets, and then I'm just gonna give them away.
I found out
craziest people
to rent the theater is
going through like a homeless encampment, giving them tickets.
I don't know about that, but just like diehard Taylor Swift that are gonna annoy Brittany.
There's nobody there. You could never annoy me. I would actually be happy if you found diehard Taylor Swift fans. Like I just want to sing and dance.
I'm gonna hand them out at like a sports bar, so it's
Make Tom go. So then I feel so insecure about like, sit down.
Brittany, I never imagined that your life was so pathetic.
Thank you.
I thought it was really going well.
No, it's not. This is like, but this would be. I would have to. Yeah, it's a late weeknight, and I would have to commit. Justin's already like, fine, whatever. The baby will be asleep. Like. It would be a whole. I already took up 3 hours last week at it, but if I can make this work, we keep checking the theater to see if anyone's bought tickets, and thus far 0.
Like, why do you need to go see this movie a second time?
Because I want to dance.
Why didn't you do that the first time?
We danced a little bit, but the idea of having our whole theater and be able to run from side to side and like reenact, like.
Let me ask you
the
this.
chances are you're not going to have the whole thing to yourself.
I hope you do, and then you're not going to actually run around the theater like you say you are.
You're going to be too tired and fall asleep.
You guys don't know me at all. Sometimes I just wonder if we're even friends.
I can answer that for you off there.
Let me check. I'm checking right now if any. Thus far, no tickets are bought. Get out of here! Get out of here! You can't know.
Looks like
So where's this
Icon Theater in St. Louis Park.
I mean, if I have a whole theater, so I found out too. I was like, well, how much is it to rent a whole theater?
Yeah.
$800.
Bob, do you think that's worth it? $800 to dance in a movie theater to Taylor Swift?
You know, actually, it's not that. If you had a group of friends that you wanted to go to a movie with and they were paying most of it, no, it's not too much.
So it actually breaks down. So during COVID, my neighbor Priscilla used to rent out theaters and then just find enough of her, kiddos' friends and go. And so it's like, 40 seats.
Well, it probably depends on the time. If you ask them for a 7 a.m. showing, you might get it for a lot less than that.
Well, I don't know. A lot of kids go to this Eras tour, but I'm working on it. I have an idea in my head of how I want this to go, and we'll see. It's the only reason I would leave my house at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. It's a late night for me.
Why don't you sell the Corvette? Then you could easily afford several of the showings.
Thanks. This is terrible financial advice. And if Josh Arnold was here, he would hit you in the face.
Loving that Corvette, huh?
Yeah. Why would I sell a Corvette? I'm not.
Are you getting pulled over a lot by the cops who were like hitting on you?
No, not even at some. I'm blaring Taylor Swift and going the speed limit.
Yeah. Well, they probably pull you over and confused. Like, what do you mean you're not a 70-year-old man driving this Corvette?
Here's the funny thing is.
We thought it was Beverly. What are you doing in the car?
Beverly. We thought you were far cooler. Here's the funny thing. My Corvette is not an expensive car at all. And my other cars are far nicer, far more expensive. Do you know how many times people comment about that Corvette? Constantly.
Right. Well, it's just
but
because
it's like a
perception.
toy.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a toy of a toy where I'm always like if we always laugh, we're like, well, if the Corvette, it's not nice. It just sounds cool and it looks cool, but it's so fun.
Brittany, why did your mom give it up? And I mean the Corvette.
So she
AJ got that.
I got it. She sold her Woodbury house. Her and my stepdad sold their Woodbury house and they're moving to Florida. And she wanted something a little more practical when she's in Florida because then they each have a car in Florida.
A Corvette's not practical in Florida. That's the place you'd want to drive it year round.
So she ended up getting a PT Cruiser with the removable roof. I'm sorry, we interrupting something?
Yeah, it's just my wife. You
can answer. If you have to go, were you keeping you over?
No.
So she got a removable, the ones with like the push button
convertible PT Cruiser.
Yeah, because the Corvette you have to it's a hard top and you have to take the roof off. And she's just like, the PT Cruiser will last her longer and she can rock both in Florida. So,
well, good. So, it's the PT Cruisers are nice, I guess. I don't know. It's a big Florida type of car.
Yeah, it was fun. We went down last winter and for date night, stole her car and went to like a Cuban restaurant and it was super fun. It's a fun drive. It feels like a little go-kart the way it kind of flies in and out of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was like 2008 when everybody was like, that was the height of the PT Cruiser craze and you felt like you saw a million of them everywhere.
You think it was then? I feel like it was earlier than that.
Was it earlier?
But did you guys ever have any urge to buy a small car? No.
I mean, I guess not like super small, like a Mini Cooper. If you sat in a Mini Cooper, I can't even fit in one.
Or wait, maybe hers is a Mini Coupe. I'm sorry, it might be a Mini Coupe.
That's the car they were giving away, right? It was like you buy one, get this too.
Yeah. The Mini Cooper, that was the Italian job.
I'm so sorry. I'm pretty sure hers is a Mini Coupe convertible.
Yeah, that makes more sense because going to a PT Cruiser that seems like a very weird.
As soon as you said that, I was like, wait a minute. No, I've definitely felt, it's the Mini Coupe. My bad. I really wanted a Fiat for a while. And then I realized I could never pick up my nephews from school if I needed to. And that kind of shut that down. But the need to drive something small is very much so in my blood. Like I want a smaller car and my life is just getting bigger and bigger.
Nice face.
Thanks.
Hey, by the way, I do have to wrap up. Let's don't forget Monday night, Vikings, Niners. if McCaffrey plays, it's not going to be pretty.
Well, give us your prediction. What do you think?
Vikings. My prediction all year will be Vikings lose.
All right, I'm going to write this down and hold you
because I'll be right more than I'll be wrong.
Yes.
Well, we'll double check again. We'll double check in case you change it on Monday morning.
I won't.
Bye, Bob. Love you.
See you, kids. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Well, note to self: don't pay him his full rate today. Let's just write that down quick.
Just make a note.
3 minutes early. I understand. No, I have to fill.
Do you want to go with one of your stories? Is 3 minutes enough time?
Oh, heck no. For mine are so good. We will be after we get back from this break. This is what we're going to be doing, and I need the listeners to chime in hardcore. So each one of us, since we're all trying to be radio people today and really like step into the Tom Barnard shoes, each one of us has brought a story. This story will be incredible. This story will probably change your life. And we want the listeners to chime in and say who had the best story and who read it the best. So there's 2 parameters. What story is great, like just by itself, hardcore good story, and who told the story the best. So there's 2 different things you can get judged on. And we're going to break early just so we can do all that. And also we're going to have a guest on, JJ Moses, who wrote Focused, the Prepared to Win Mindset. And he's got a very interesting story. He was an NFL player, shortest NFL player in the league, which I was shocked. 5'6" is the shortest NFL player.
Yeah, first of all, that's tiny.
Well, calm down. He's going to be on next. Don't attack him.
I'll tell him that he's tiny. He's aware of how small he is.
Well, he built a whole book on that. All right. So you need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful. Someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions. And Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investment. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad you did, and tell him his guy Brittany sent you. Just kidding, Tom.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombernardshow.com.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Tom here, and I just read a success story from MN Fat Loss client Elizabeth, who just completed the program. Elizabeth writes, I'm a 54-year-old woman who has struggled with losing weight. I had almost constant heartburn, trouble sleeping, brain fog. I tried counting calories, eating bars and shakes, and several other programs in which I would lose 5 to 10 pounds after months of struggling. After 60 days of the MN Fat Loss program, I was down 25 pounds. MN Fat Loss had really empowered me to believe that I can control my eating and my weight without having to sacrifice foods that I like. If you're thinking about finally committing to improving your health, this is the time to start. You won't regret your investment in yourself. It's so easy to see if MN Fat Loss is a good fit for you. They offer a free phone consultation to learn about the program. They also have virtual options to help you if you live far away, which I think is a brilliant idea. To schedule that free phone consultation, go to mnfatloss.com. The only thing you have to lose is that unwanted weight. That's www.mnfatloss.com. I cannot wait to hear about your success story. And please let them know that Tom sent you.
You've all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this, and he continues to give back to his listeners with deals on his most popular products. You've heard me and Tom mainly recently speak about the My Slippers, the Giza Sheets, the My Pillow 2.0, and many, many more. Well, great news. Some great news to start on your Friday. The My Pillow 6-path bath towel sets are back in stock. Finally, the proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel that you look for a towel. I know I do. This set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. The regular price, it's $79.98. But for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99, and that's using promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. Make sure you use promo code TOM. So go to MyPillow.com right now and use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That's just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
Yeah, baby, we're back. And I finally ate some of that donut, and I feel good about it.
Feel wonderful. But Bogart's donuts are amazing.
It's times where I bite into a donut where I go, that wasn't worth it. Immediately worth it.
Yes.
Like immediately.
And because I went there this morning and it just smells like fresh baked donuts. I'm like, can I just stand here forever? Can we do a remote show from your counter?
I feel like the one I had was like the classic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, AJ, because I will not eat the whole thing. You got to try some of the classic. It was insane.
I don't know what I had because I thought I was grabbing like a cream cheese frosting one.
It was like a buttercream.
Yeah, it was really good. It was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. We're going to kick it off with my story first.
Okay.
This is
for everybody that maybe is just joining the show. What are we doing now?
So we're doing a contest. We each had to bring a story to the forefront because we can't do anything without trying to figure out how to shame each other. Because that's our friendships. So everyone brings a story, and then we all get to decide if that story was good and if you read it well. So the combination of the storytelling and the product you brought. So my story is a Minnesota school, Minnetonka to be more accurate. They saw a problem. Betsy Julian, who's a 5th and 6th grade teacher at Glen Lake Elementary, noticed that the current school playground was not equipped for all the children. They looked into it, and accessibility is something for each playground. The only thing you have to have for accessibility is a path that your wheelchair can go on and one of those swings that you can have anybody go on, one of those big, broad back swings. Mm-hmm. She kind of noticed that, well, the path, fine, but like the swing in itself is not exactly what everybody who is dealing with a wheelchair wants to ask somebody to put them on. So she decided, okay, I have to look into it. And she found an accessibility where you can roll on, swing, and merry-go-round. And she goes, this is going to cost $135,000.
Okay.
She decided she was going to try to raise that money. And she brought it up to her class. And they ended up finding a grant that would give $35,000. So they said, okay, $100,000. Can we raise us, 5th and 6th graders? Can we raise $100,000? And those kids said, you know what? Screw that. We can raise a lot more than that. So not only did they start looking into more accessibilities, they started raising money, a lot of money. Their current goal is $1 million. They have raised over $600,000, and they want to keep raising money to make more accessibility. They're also involved. They're starting a nonprofit because of this, because they want to teach other young kids how to raise money. They've done everything from bake sales to selling t-shirts to talk. They have cold called businesses, these 5th and 6th graders. And now they are turning this into a full-blown nonprofit that they get to run. Their teacher is super proud of them, including now they're looking at kids that are getting to get involved with the actual setting up of where the stuff goes, the construction and the layout.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, they're almost at their $1 million mark. And again, originally was $100,000. Originally wasn't even anything. And to that, I say, congratulations, Glen Lake Elementary School.
I don't know if I want to follow that up with mine. That was a good story.
That's a good story. Good for the kids. I
know you want to attack my story, but here's the thing. First off,
the whole time you were talking, I was just thinking of funny things I can say to downgrade your story.
That was a good story.
That's amazing. And not only that, they're turning their. Okay. So in general, I do find it amazing that now they have two components to their nonprofit. One is raising money for accessibility playgrounds. The other is teaching other kids how to raise money for whatever nonprofit they want to do.
Does it say in there, are they now like, so if they raise $1 million, is all like, are they going to build themselves $1 million playground, or are they going to build like other schools $135,000?
I don't know, because that's a great question. I think they might keep it within theirs, but I don't really know that one. That's a pretty extensive follow-up, but I did think it was cool. There was a girl talking about how she was really nervous to talk in public and how this helped her with having to cold call businesses. She was like, now I don't really care. Like, I'll call and ask a Perkins in the Minnetonka for money. So like, what do I have to fear?
Right. And also like very smart for the teacher, because like how many people, it's like selling Girl Scout cookies. Like how many people are really saying no to a little kid that calls like, we want to build our friend that's in a wheelchair a playground. Can you give us some money? Like, you're going to guilt 90% of the people into just saying yes.
I didn't know this about this school here in Minnetonka. They actually have a program called the Compass program, and it talks about having a higher rate of kids with disabilities and things like that. So kind of reflects more in Minneapolis, and in Minnesota, we're not really always known for having schools with a lot of different diversity. And this was kind of a cool program they had specifically there. And the parents on both kids in the Compass program and not in the Compass program talk about how awesome it is and how much it teaches both groups of people a lot about, different accessibilities. So
they build this like wheelchair accessible like slide or something. And they're like, all right, Timmy, like, are you excited? And he's like, I freaking hate slides.
I hate slides. But that's cool too. Like not going on a slide, just having the option to say, I hate that is like totally a vibe in itself. Absolutely. And if you're around teenagers or tweens, you know that's might be the answer. But yeah, I just thought it was really cool and how into it they got and like how it became its own thing. All right. Do you want to go? Cool.
I'll go next just because I'm going to have to keep on an eye on the phone here from JJ Moses when he calls in here. But I'm not happy that I have to follow that up because my story is not in the same, like.
You're fine. It doesn't have to be. Mine was just, I knew I would hit, like I got really into this story. So that's why.
All right, here we go. A man who fled Venezuela with his pet squirrel traveling thousands of miles. Who traveled thousands of miles together and living in a tent in Mexico for months is now facing having to say goodbye to his unlikely best friend.
What?
Jason, 23, says he will be, quote, heartsick when he has to leave Nico, his pet squirrel, behind. The little squirrel who has a black stripe and flecks of white hair and all this stuff, and has been traveling in his knitted cap and in his backpack for a 3,000 long mile trek to the border of the U.S. They may have to part ways here. There was no question of leaving his pet in Venezuela, Jason said, adding that starting new life without him would be practically starting with nothing else in my life. Jason, who did not want to give his last name because he's worried about his family's safety back in Venezuela, is among millions who have fled the South American country because of political and economic upheaval in recent years. Migrants making the dangerous trip, they travel around 3,000 miles just to make it up to this border on the southern border of the U.S. here. He made the trip through the perilous jungle known as what's called the Darien Gap, where he said he would come across wild things. He found a dead body that was under some blankets. Nico, the entire time, was concealed on his person. Jason would keep him in pockets and his backpack and his hat. At times, selling his phone for $35 when bus drivers would catch the animal on board just to make sure he can stay. Just wild stuff. But now, after making this journey, spending 6 months waiting in an asylum after that 3,000 miles, they're being forced to potentially have to break up at the border just because they're not going to allow this
foreign
animal into the country.
This animal cannot survive on its own.
No, let this man bring this squirrel in.
We're pretty much giving Nico a death sentence if we don't let it. Because in what world can he thrive? He's going to try to get in someone else's hat, and that's not going to go well.
Here's the good news.
Okay.
Jason was able to connect with some vets along the border. They've been able to get him in contact. It was the director of a non-governmental organization, which pretty much roughly translates to they help foreign animals succeed, just like when having to part.
Okay.
Usually they deal with dogs and cats and other pets, but not squirrels. But they helped Yason get in touch with a vet to help document Nico's vaccinations provided to border agents in the hope that he can get across with his young buddy. Yason says, quote, "There's a connection between me and the squirrel so much so that he preferred to bring it with him than leave him behind in Venezuela. And if they do have to part, he's given me the courage to live my life moving forward. And quote, I hope he never forgets my face."
Like they need to, like,
I will
no
put money
offense.
towards.
Yeah, I'm like, can we get those kids in
We should.
Minnetonka to raise some money for this squirrel?
For Nico and Yason.
Like, yeah. But this also, like, we have squirrels here, and I get it. It's probably a different type of squirrel, but it's, come on.
It's fine. Like, listen, I'm not a professional in any aspect of
No.
any world, but like, that's fun. Like a squirrel. Also,
It's his pet. It's not like he's letting it run
let's
around
be
in the wild.
honest, Yason. Like, you could probably get the squirrel in.
Right. If you
Also,
need
like-
to, Yason, I will come down to the border. I'll stand there. You let the squirrel run over to me.
Yeah.
I'll run away. You can cross. and
Yeah,
then
like
we'll
what
do
are the
reunites.
rules with letting animals just kind of like go in
Yeah.
across the border on their own?
Yeah, like if a regular wild squirrel tried to cross, would they be like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa, let me see the
Let's
papers.
see the vaccinations.
See the papers.
Get back.
That was a great story. Honestly,
Yeah.
like AJ, 10
Yours
out of
is-
10.
yeah.
And you did a great job telling it. And like I loved it. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
During the break, I'll show you. I'll have you guys come in here and look at these pictures because this dude, like this squirrel, looks like the most lively squirrel of all time. He's just climbing around this tent while Yason's like doing the interview.
Throw it in Tom's news story.
Will do.
All right.
That's awesome.
Are
So,
you ready, Tevin?
I'm glad that I picked two news stories because now I'm going to pivot from the one I originally was going to do
Okay.
to one that's a little bit more fun.
Okay.
And I think will really resonate in the hearts of our listeners.
Okay.
Okay. So
It's a lot of promises being made. I feel like you're setting yourself up, buddy.
there was a DeLorean with only, are you familiar with what a DeLorean is? The car, Back to the Future?
Classic car. Remember, that's what you said yesterday. It was your version of a classic car.
Well, that's because I had found this article yesterday
I
and it was
know.
on the tip of my tongue.
Trust
But
me,
anyway,
I know.
a DeLorean with only 977 miles on it was unearthed in a Wisconsin barn.
Okay.
Back
Barn or bar?
barn.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I guess it could be a bar. No,
It's
barn.
Wisconsin, yeah.
Yeah, it is Wisconsin. Back to the Future has been a family favorite film franchise for decades. So much so that the car used for the time machine can resell for up to 6 figures. Now imagine finding that same model in the back of a Wisconsin barn with original parts and less than 1,000 miles on it, partially sunk into the dirt like treasure. Oh, they say great, Scott. I'm not going to read that part. Anyway, that's exactly.
Okay, I've seen some problems,
I
and
did
the
not read
magic
this.
of radio is having to announce what you're. Just some notes, just off the bat.
Okay.
Wait, we're gonna have to take a pause because we got
Perfect. Then I'm going to find a different story.
Okay, we might have to start over for Tevin. AJ, it wasn't going that well.
It was going great.
At one point, he said what he wasn't going to read in the article. So
somebody didn't prepare.
No, I did not prepare. I found out about this challenge about 20 minutes
You
ago.
literally, we talked about it last night via text. JJ Moses, how the heck are you?
Okay.
I am doing well. So great to hear from y'all today.
Yeah, you too. We were pretty excited to have you on. This is JJ Moses. He is a former professional football player. He played wide receiver at Ohio State University and for the Green Bay Packers, Houston Texans, and Arizona Cardinals in the NFL. During his career, he was listed as the shortest player in the NFL. He has a book, and it is Focus, the Prepared to Win Mindset. And we actually kind of need you right now, JJ, because Tevin does not have this same mindset.
Well, I thought you were going to go with, can you help our Minnesota Vikings who seem to not have the prepared to win mindset?
Let's focus on that one first because that
Yes.
helps the entire state.
That's
Tevin's
true.
his own problem.
Tevin is his
Yeah,
own
no,
problem.
I'm beyond help.
Yes, absolutely. Having this focused type prepare to win mindset has been, my motto growing up. And I'm from a small town in Iowa and played football at Iowa State. And then after Iowa State, like you mentioned, went on to have an opportunity to play in the NFL. And growing up, I didn't have the credentials. I was the underdog, right, where I didn't have the resources. But one thing that I brought to the table, and I definitely didn't have the physique, but I did bring this, and that was the focus, prepare to win mindset. Statistics mention 99.9% of all college athletes will not make it into the NFL. So by remaining focused is what allowed me to be prepared for those opportunities and also allowed me to transition out of the NFL in which I was able to work and land a dream job. And then, of course, we all know that life has those setbacks, disappointments, and those discouraging seasons of frustration, or you might feel emotionally challenged. But by having this prepare to win mindset, it's really what allowed me to navigate some of most life's difficult challenges to propel me to continue to move forward within my career.
JJ, this is so interesting. And, at first you kind of read this and you go, can I apply this to I've never been I wouldn't even say a high school athlete. I like to pretend I'm athletic just because me and my husband fight about it. But JJ, what would be a winning mindset in some, everyday life? Like, what would I bring to the table when I wake up in the morning?
Yes, for me, this is what I've learned is focus to prepare to win mindset. It's really about approaching your life, your career, and even relationship with an intentional focus, having faith, positivity, and I also believe having resiliency. And when a person has this type of mindset, this is what allows them to leverage success while they're trying to achieve their goals and dreams, and really in every area of their life. But one thing we all know and we're aware of that, life is full of distractions, right? We're going to be distracted, whether it's at work, distractions, what people say, too much time on social media, on TV, who's getting a promotion, what this person's doing. There's studies that mention 3 out of every 4 workers are distracted. And distractions can reduce professionalism in the workplace, and it can also affect productivity. And so I have learned throughout the course of my career, playing in the NFL and overcoming those odds, stepping into a dream job and building a program in the NFL, and even dealing with life challenges, that when you remain focused, that's the key to continue to give you success. The statistics are amazing, but when there's a program or a system in place that allows individuals to remain focused, 75% of individuals say they feel more happier, they're more motivated, but I love this key word, they feel more purposeful. So by remaining focused, I believe it allows individuals to be aligned to finding their true purpose and also their passion as well.
Now, JJ, I got to know, given kind of what you mentioned with your background, you don't have the stature maybe that most NFL players do. You said you don't really have you didn't have the credentials, but you had that drive growing up. And I'm sure you had football coaches got to be some of the harshest people at times growing up. Yes. So they can pull you aside. Maybe they said, you know what, kid, you just don't have it, whatever. They didn't think you were cut out for it. Where does that resilience, that mindset originate in you from? Was it maybe parental influence? Was it just your life experiences to find that that will to keep going and have that positive outlook on life, or where's that come from?
Yes, I think it comes from 2 components. I think the first side is my spiritual side, where God is, my faith is so strong within Christ, and just being able just to stay focused, that has allowed me to kind of continue to navigate some of life's most difficult challenges, but also my upbringing, where my mother and father both instilled in all of their kids about, being the best version of yourself, treating people with respect. And so I was so grateful that I had a great example of that in my household, which allowed me and grew me for life's lessons along the way. And I think one valuable trait that I learned through the process is, you said, I didn't have the physique of an NFL athlete, definitely didn't have the credentials or the resources, but I learned how to be prepared for the opportunities when they were to come. And by being prepared for those opportunities is what allowed me to step into the National Football League.
JJ, you talked about positivity playing such an important role. And, actively, when somebody asks me how something goes, my brain kind of automatically wants to tell them the negative stuff. Do you think being positive is something that we have to actively do just because we naturally want to go negative?
I think in this world, it's so easy to go negative. And again, I've heard so many voices and people and naysayers and critics along the course of my career. I would hear people say, man, you're too short to play. You're only going to go and play in high school. But I had to learn one valuable life lesson, in which I talk about in my new book, Focus, the Prepare to Win Mindset, was to embrace positivity. And by having this grateful attitude, it allowed me to accomplish my goals, whether if it was professionally or even personally. And I remember one quick illustration, but I was a rookie with the Kansas City Chiefs, and we were competing with another player during that time, and we were trying to make the active 53-man roster. So as the weeks were finishing up and they were getting ready to finalize the final roster, the player that I was competing against began to say, man, this is not fair. We're not getting enough play time. The coaches are not, giving us enough opportunities. And he had this like critical negative mindset. And he was looking at it from a true perspective. But what I challenged myself was, even though the situation was unfair, I said, you know what, no matter what happens, I know that something good is going to come out of it. And so I continue to embrace this positivity. Long story short, the player was right. We were both released from the Kansas City Chiefs, but the only thing that separated us was that player never played again in the National Football League. He was highly exceptional. He was a draft choice. He could have went on to play for many different NFL teams, but by me embracing positivity, I went on to play for 4 other NFL teams throughout the NFL, and then also continue to work in the NFL. So I have learned how by embracing positivity is what allows you to continue to accomplish your goals and dreams in whatever facet of your life. And it's been so instrumental within my life.
And does like getting cut by, because obviously like that's every kid's dream growing up is like, I want to play in the NFL. And then to have, getting cut by a team seems like, oh, this is could be the end of my career. And you ended up going over to NFL Europe and playing for the Scottish Claymores. Like, how humbling was that? Or did you was it hard to stay positive after getting cut and then ending up in NFL Europe when you were kind of already had made it to the big league?
Yes, it was difficult because, just imagine something that you've worked for all of your life and then you're told you're not good enough, or you put in all the time and effort, but you don't get recognized by your boss. That's how I felt when I was released by my first team with the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel disappointed. I feel, like, man, what will my friends or people think about me? Because they were all excited that I was about to play in the NFL. And here I am now back in my hometown, released and then eventually getting an opportunity to play in NFL Europe. So I took all of that and I learned some valuable life lessons. And that was to embrace change, to learn how to handle those defeats. And one mentality that has helped me is to continue to let go of all the things that have happened in my life, whether it was the disappointments, the setbacks, because I believe if you continue to have this great attitude, even though the bad challenges, and I'm not telling anyone to decompress their feelings, but not allow yourself to be so emotionally drowned or discouraged where you're not able to continue to move forward. And so with me having this mindset allowed me to move forward, in which I did play at NFL Europe, and I eventually became I think I was recognized by the NFL Europe as the #1 punt returner in the NFL Europe, which allowed me then to re-enter the NFL with more confidence. So again, that mentality of embracing positivity has been the common denominator and highlight of my life, I like to say, to keep me moving forward.
JJ, this has been I feel like this was the talk we needed in our show. So I'm super inspired, and I know you have to get going. You have 40 seconds left. I have to ask you, what does Oprah smell like?
Well, how about this? And again, it's all about those opportunities. And, years back, I did have an opportunity to share my story on the Oprah Life class. And it was one of those moments where you're like, man, as a kid, you get an opportunity to see Oprah on TV, but to actually be in the room with an Oprah Winfrey and to share your story, it was, again, a life lesson that I've learned that whatever person dreams about, whatever you're believing for, if you keep this focused, prepare to win mindset, the sky's the limit for you.
Well, thank you, JJ. And again, did your book just came out on the 17th, right?
Yes, it came out the 17th, and we're excited. We have some collaborations with book signings from Nordstrom's, Neiman Marcus, and so we're so excited of the influence and the opportunities that the book is going in different directions, and hopefully we're here to inspire people in every facet of their life and career as well.
I think you're going to do it. JJ's book is called The Focus, The Prepared to Win Mindset. Thank you so much, JJ. Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Sorry, I thought you jumped off. I thought it got cut off.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks, JJ. I thought he got cut off, and I was like, oh no, he's going to think that people are going to think that he didn't say it.
You're just rude.
No, he's lovely. That was actually so good. He like motivates.
Yeah.
Like, you need to bring this now. You have 2 minutes to do your story. You need to bring this.
All right,
you need to channel this.
Switching to a different story.
Okay. I mean,
because
all right.
The DeLorean, somebody found a DeLorean. That's all you need to know. But
I did think there was can we critique real quick? First off, nobody knows what is or isn't in the story.
I know.
But I just wanted to say that because sometimes we forget. Also, there wasn't a lot of meat on those bones.
I know. I realized I'll full disclosure, didn't read the article before we started diving into
You know, it's so funny. Eric has been, our big time listener who we met at the fair, Eric.
Yep.
He's been giving us reviews. All of his reviews are super positive. And I was thinking he really is he's
the
lying
focus,
if he
the mindset.
He's
lying if he sent a positive review. About
he did. He already wrote a positive review on yours.
Well, we're trashing that one, and this one not as funny as or uphearted or lighthearted as your guys's, but we'll go into it anyway.
Right.
A St. Louis youth football team had the rest of its season canceled after a player's parent allegedly shot the coach multiple times for not putting his son in as the starter for the team, according to city and police statements.
Shot with a gun.
Shot with a gun multiple times. Authorities responded to the scene on October 10th and found the coach, who had sustained serious physical injury from the gunshots, according to a probable cause statement. The coach, who was then taken to a hospital for treatment, told officers that a parent whose son plays on the team was, quote, upset with him for not starting his son, according to the statement. The parent approached the coach and eventually shot him multiple times while he was unarmed, the statement added. It looks like the suspect, identified by police and jail records as Daryl Brian Clemens, was arrested and charged with first-degree assault, armed criminal action. According to those records, he has been ordered to be held without bail until his trial, according to court records.
Okay. Question.
Yes.
What grade was this again?
It just says youth football.
And the guy's still alive?
Yeah, it sounds like the coach is still alive, but
thank God.
Yeah, they don't.
Imagine dying because you didn't play a fourth grader.
I know.
Yeah, the police. It looks like the coach's name was Shaquille Lattimore. Lattimore, who coaches the Bad Boys team with a Z, told. He was shot 4 times and grazed once. He still has bullet fragments in his body, and he can still feel it. But by the grace of God, he is blessed, and so it sounds like he's in good spirits. But yeah, he was shot, sounds like 5 times, and there were 3 children. It looks like they were kind of in the area, but yeah.
That's terrifying me because my dad growing up, I guess he still does coach high school tennis.
Oh, he does?
He does. But he also used to coach hockey, and hockey parents are insane. So I'm not that I think that, this is probably not a common occurrence where parents are shooting their their kids coach just because they're not getting playing time. But, at a certain point, like high school, I think is that first level of, all right, if you're not good, you're not going to get that guaranteed playing time.
It's before high school and hockey. Yeah. You'll get like Bantams. And I mean, even before that is, what are they, like squirts?
Peewees.
Is that a thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like
they already start doing prep because I nannied families that played hockey. They already people will be arguing, get my kid out there, my goalie out there, especially that those roles. Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm gonna spin zone my unathleticness and say me not making the top tier team was good because then it was like
you could play.
Everybody's like laid back and it's like okay.
Oh, nobody. And the funny thing is like I talked to. There's a girl that lives down the street, and she didn't make varsity in tennis, and I said, if you win every one of your matches this season, you come back to me and talk. If not, then you're in the right place. Because it's supposed to be tennis, supposed to be fun. You can play a whole, but it's like, and nobody knows what you played in high school. Nobody cares if I say I was on JV varsity or, the B squad or whatever. I've been in all of them.
Can I really? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And so these kids were ages 5 to 13 is the level of football that was being played. And
That's
so
insane.
To shoot somebody over, you shouldn't be shooting anybody.
Yeah.
But it's like your kids at most 13 years old, like calm down.
You're
like
fine.
the NFL is not watching your kid practice today.
Really quick, somewhat really quick story before we get to break, because we've got Tim Lammers, and I'm sure he's gonna fill us in on, I would assume,
the full moon,
Killers of the Flower Moon, and I want to hear all about that. But Brittany, I know you play tennis.
I sure do.
Do you want to hear about, like, I never once thought I would go pro in anything.
Yeah.
But like the final nail in the coffin for my high school athletic career was when I was actually okay at tennis. I felt like, me and my buddy Jack, we were making like our senior trip and whatever. We had sections. It was to go to state, and we had beat these guys, and we had this match. Doubles. Yes. Okay. I had my backhand back in the day was really good, but we go and we match up with this team from Providence Academy. I think it was Breck. It doesn't matter. A private school. Yeah. Whatever.
They were big wigs.
These guys that we thought we were going to play for the week or two leading up to it, they had lost to these twins that were in 7th grade, bred to play tennis.
Yeah.
That's
how tennis is, though. You can lose to babies, or I can play an 80-year-old who will work me.
Like their parents, I guess, made one of them play left-handed so they could do the doubles thing together. It was wild. So we weren't really prepared. We ended up losing. It was a very close, hard-fought game, but it's just at the end of the day, it's like I just lost to 7th graders.
No,
but they were really good, and that was like that's it. That's it. We had one more like throwaway match that we had to play that same day, and I was just so out of it. I was doing like underhand serves and whatever, but that killed my spirits.
It's so sad, but at the same time, tennis is one of those sports where
so fun.
The age doesn't matter. I play in a league
with old people.
They're older because a lot of them can play in the middle of the day,
right?
And I get worked. Last night I got worked.
Yeah, and kind of AJ, along your lines of your story of like when you found out that like, oh, this is the end of my career. I had moments where like I'd be out, like, so I just DJ'd a wedding, and one of the people came up and they're like, "Hey, do you remember me?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Well, I played cornerback against you in high school, and like I still have like nightmares about like you beat us at homecoming, and you scored like 2 touchdowns." And I was like, you remember that from all these years ago?
You were somebody's like
I was
bad
somebody's
guy
like, oh my gosh. And like when I was at NDSU, I remember I was in a speech class, and with a kid sitting next to me, he's like, "Hey, you're on the football team, right?" And I was like, yeah, I'm on the football team. And he's like, "Do you know John Crockett?" I was like, "Yeah, that's my roommate." And he's like, and Crockett, he played here locally at Totino Grace, and he was like I think he was runner up for Mr. Minnesota or something like that, Mr. Football, whatever. And so, anyway, this kid was like, "Yeah, he is the reason I quit football because he scored like 6 touchdowns against us in the first half and like ran me over." And he was like, after that game, he's like, "I took my cleats off and I never put them back on."
What does it feel like to be a main player in somebody's story? Like,
it feels kind of good.
All right, cool.
I think it feels pretty neat. Like I was like, "Hey man, like sorry, I guess," but yeah, some people really hang on to the high school days.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, we're gonna have Tim Lammers here next on the Tom Barnard Morning Show.
Perfect. It's Tom. No, it's Tevin here for Flagship Ford in Baldwin, Wisconsin. I am happy to say that Tom he purchased an EV Ford Mustang from Flagship Ford. He loves it. And he has friends and coworkers who love theirs as well that they bought from Flagship Ford. It is a family-run dealership that is just 20 minutes east of the Metro in Baldwin. Whether you want to compare their used car specials, claim Ford financing options, or simply book an oil change or tire rotation, they have you covered at Flagship Ford. New vehicles like the Ford Escape, Ford Edge, or F-150 pickups with special engine options, Flagship Ford can answer all your questions on your next new vehicle. The month of October is Tire Month at Flagship Ford. Fit your tires for your specific vehicle, any model car, truck, or SUV, and get your tires before the snow falls just in a few moments. Just $5 over cost. That's a purchase of 4 new tires with a $70 rebate gift card on top of that $5 over cost on most brands of tires. Flagship Ford, east of the Metro in Baldwin, Wisconsin, and online at flagshipford.com. That's flagshipford.com.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
In a world that's racing a mile a minute, a split-second distraction can change everything. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. Every day we see too many people, heads buried in their phones, unaware of the dangers they're in. Texting and driving isn't just reckless, it's playing Russian roulette with your life and the lives of others. In just 4 seconds of distraction, you've driven the length of a football field. Is there any text message that's worth your life, that's worth the lives of others? I've been fighting for the rights of the injured for over 30 years, but I'd rather you never meet me in a courtroom. So hear me now. Stop texting and driving. Pay attention. Value your lives and the lives around you. And if you won't, know this. At Bradshaw and Bryant, we're relentless. We won't back down. We bring justice to those that need it.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
With Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of D&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market.
North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The new Tom Barnard Morning Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw and Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword part.
Baby on screen.
Oh, little puppy.
You know how I'm obsessed with basset hounds, Tim. I literally think they are copied and pasted from all sorts of animals. Look at his head.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be here. I've been holding him. So he wouldn't leave, and now I wanted him to visit you, Brittany, because I know how much you love dogs. Are you guys dog fans, Tevin and AJ?
Oh, absolutely. I have a little Pomsky that I love.
Oh, yeah, cool. I've got a Boston Terrier. I love dogs.
When I'm in a bad mood, I'll Google basset hounds' feet because they're the most insane looking thing, and they're always like weirdly pigeon-toed, and they're like then point in. They don't even make sense.
If you want instant happiness,
okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now I got
Your son knows me. Your son knows me well when he puts in the dragon.
I follow Basset Hounds pages on Facebook, and so pictures are popping up all the time. So it's instant happiness when you see them. And now, of course, a bearded dragon on my shoulder as well.
Is this bearded dragon wearing a necklace?
No, it looks like a bow tie.
Oh,
yeah.
God, he's definitely the most formal person here.
He dressed her up for a good, nice appearance today. So,
hello, sir.
Yes. Tim Lammers is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Timmy, did I nail it?
Yes. I feel like Dr. Doolittle today with all these animals around me, but I have to hear about, before we get to Killers of the Flower Moon, I have to hear about your experience at Taylor Swift with your neighbor, which I thought, again, is a very cool thing to do, Britt.
Her and I had the best time. And I thought about you because I was thinking, wow, Tim went to this and said it was good. And he, wasn't that into her music, but she really puts on a show. Mm-hmm. And I actually brought another person who wasn't that into Taylor Swift. And I was like, you can leave whenever you want. She just kind of wanted to get a feel for it. Stayed for the whole time. Me and Josie were both belting songs out and everybody in the theater was singing. And I was just like, Josie's 12. So she's at that age where soon I'm going to be mortifying to her when I do things. But to have a little bit of those capsulated moments where you both are just, jiving, connecting, nobody's being too cool. It's just, I can see why parents are so excited to bring their kids there. It's just such a vibe.
And again, it really is an up close and personal look. Of course, there's no documentary footage, so to speak, of behind the scenes or anything like that. But the music, the show that she puts on is spectacular. There's no denying it, whether you like her music or not. I mean, what a hell of a presentation. So I can see why people are loving the tour, and I'm sure loving the movie as well.
I might actually go again. I found that there's a weeknight showing at a certain theater. I'm not saying where and I'm not saying when, but currently has 0 seat spot. And me and my friend Devin, if there's no seat spot, we might go just buy tickets so we can dance throughout the whole theater by ourselves.
You can dance anyway. You can dance anyway. Well, I tell you what, no dancing at Killers of the Flower Moon. Boy, what a hard-hitting movie this is. And the amazing thing, and I've teased this before, 3 hours and 26 minutes of Martin Scorsese at his best, I have to say. I wasn't bored at all. I mean, is it too long? Yeah, I guess. I mean, the only inconvenience, obviously, is trying to not go to the bathroom. And when you sit there and you think about with previews, et cetera, you're sitting there nearly 4 hours. I had to get a large popcorn and a medium drink, which is still massive.
Yeah.
So actually I got up twice. But I'm sure I'll catch it again on Apple TV Plus, because that's the whole interesting thing about this. This is an award season movie, and it's probably going to do quite well in the theater. But Apple TV Plus actually co-financed this thing, so it's going to go exclusively to streaming probably sooner than later. So you can see it there too. But, there's just nothing like seeing something like this on the big screen. Just like I saw The Irishman, which was over 3 hours on the big screen from Martin Scorsese. So you got him. Obviously, you have De Niro, you have DiCaprio. Lily Gladstone is the female lead in this. It just doesn't get any better.
And everyone's talking about Leo's acting, and then the main female as well, that it was just superb. Bob saw it as well, and he said that the acting was out of this world.
Yeah. You know what? As good as Lily Gladstone and DiCaprio are, De Niro, I'm sorry, man. He knocks it out of the park. He is just a head and shoulders above everybody else. That guy, he's frightening. And this is mostly a quieter role for him.
Mm-hmm.
There's one act of physical, I wouldn't even call it violence. It's one of these, he grabs DiCaprio by the collar and he's talking to him, and it's like, whoa, there goes the bearded dragon crawling up my back.
Get your son.
So other than that, I mean, he is relatively tame. There we go.
I love your son. He's my favorite person on our show.
And I saw Vaughn there for a second. I thought he could rejoin me. And so, it's amazing when you can have such of an understated presence, but yet have that anger and greed and all these sorts of things that De Niro's character has going, and just frightening you and being so quiet. I mean, it's kind of unnerving in a sort of way. But anyway, to bring people up to speed on what the actual film is about, in the 1920s, this is actually based on a true story. The Osage tribal nation or nation reservation in Oklahoma discovered oil, and per capita, they were the richest people on earth. This is a big deal. Of course, Robert De Niro and other white men came in to settle and effectively scheme to find a way how they could get their hands on this oil, right? And the plan was for he and his fellow cohorts to marry the tribal women, and they would inherit their rights to the oil if those women had perished. And lo and behold, a lot of women and men actually do end up dying, and therefore the rights go to essentially this extended family of Robert De Niro's character. King Hale, his name is. All these people are real. Ernest Burkhart, DiCaprio's character, is real, as is Molly Burkhart, Lily Gladstone's character. So that's the amazing thing, is that you can have a story like this that, it may not be that known to the masses, but thanks to somebody like to Martin Scorsese, I should say, people do know it now, and people are going to get to know it now, and you're going to be angered by the way Hale and his cohorts fleeced the Osage in trying to get this oil. So, it's a sprawling 3 hour and 26 minute epic, but again, I never felt bored at any point of the film.
So my friend Julia, she told me a while ago to read this book, and it's been on my short list of like, I have to get this. Have you talked to anybody who's read this book and seen the movie, and do they kind of go hand in hand well?
Well, no, I haven't yet. I haven't. And yeah, of course it is based on this. It's not written, from what I understand, it's a fiction, a nonfiction book. And this is obviously a narrative fictitious movie in a sense, but it is based on a true story. So, you know, obviously, even with 3 hours and 26 minutes, you're never going to get everything that you get in the book. So once I do talk with somebody about it, though, and I would imagine, too, because this is award season, generally Netflix especially and the streamers are great about sending you all the material to consider their votes. And amongst that will probably be a book. So I may end up reading it myself. I rarely find time to read books. But this is a sort of movie really where it pisses you off so much.
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
wanna know
really,
more.
all this stuff is going on. And, you know, it was 100 years ago. But that doesn't excuse it. That doesn't excuse the times and the attitudes towards the Native Americans then. So it really makes you want to learn more. And it's like, the more you get into it, the more it pisses you off, because obviously I read up on it after I saw the film, actually yesterday afternoon / evening, because I got out of the theater after 6 o'clock, put it that way.
Do you think there's going to be a paywall on the Apple TV thing? Because sometimes they do that. No, you think it'll
this
just
will be a streaming exclusive.
Okay.
So, you know, the interesting thing is this is a $200 million budgeted movie. With fewer show times like your Oppenheimers and probably even Taylor Swift. I mean, that cuts down the amount of times it can show per day and, you know, in a way cut into your profits or your grosses, box office grosses. So I don't know if they're expecting people to subscribe to Apple TV Plus to watch this film. I mean, that's really the only way they're going to defray the cost. But this is an awards movie, which, you know, even the mere recognition during award season, and ultimately Oscar is going to help its bottom line as well.
Yeah, and why would they announce that it's going to go to streaming afterwards so soon? Because if I'm somebody that maybe wants to go see it but don't want to sit in a movie theater for 3 hours, I'm like, oh, well, I'll just wait for it to come out in 2 weeks. Like, why would they not kind of keep that under wraps a little bit more?
Well, the deal they're doing right now, Tevin, is it's in theaters only October 20th. It was in limited release in New York and LA before that. They said at a later date. They haven't announced a specific date. So obviously the hype is going to build up about this movie and it's going to tempt you to want to go. My guess is that probably December, but again, they haven't announced an official date yet. Now, on the other hand, Netflix just released a movie called Pain Hustlers. It's in limited release today in theaters, but obviously that's to qualify for awards. And then in a week, it's coming to Netflix. So yeah, that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But again, their motives are a little bit more clear. Clearly, if any of these films want to be nominated for Oscars, they have to have a certain amount of time in theaters. And sometimes it's merely about meeting those qualifications, and the box office gross doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But Scorsese's it's a different deal.
I'm a big Jesse Plemons fan. How did he do in
Oh.
this? Did he kill it or did he just rock it? Because there's no
He knocks it out of the park in everything, AJ. Everything that the guy's in.
Yeah.
And I admit I came to the party late with Breaking Bad, but that's the latest Jesse Plemons thing I've seen. But he has so many other great roles. He was in that Netflix movie that won Best Director a few years ago. Him and his wife, who is who he's married to? Kirsten Dunst from Spider-Man. They were both nominated for that film. But yeah, he's great. He was also in The Irishman.
Yes.
Scorsese. So it's one of these things where a guy like Jesse Plemons comes in and he just kicks ass. I think he was Jimmy Hoffa's son in The Irishman, where it's awesome to see him in all this stuff because he really is such of a terrific actor.
Yeah, he is. Like I said, I'd like the first role I've ever seen him in, I watched Like Mike. And so there was a big like 10 years gap. And I was like, wait, this guy's like a legitimate, because you get those people that maybe play like the kid role and then it doesn't really materialize in anything else. But he has grown into becoming a very well-versed. He's got a big range, whether he's going to be doing this or he's in The Irishman or he plays the like overzealous cop in Game Night, like the kind of like
silly.
That like he can really do it all. So he's awesome.
He can do it all. And I'm trying to remember if his character lasted a long time in Black Mass with Johnny Depp or was out of the picture relatively early. I think he was. And if you're getting my meaning by out of the picture early, because Black Mass is about a mobster, Whitey Bulger. And a lot of people get dead in that movie, but he's in that as well. I mean, he is such a great actor, and also in a Black Mirror episode that kind of mirrored Star Trek. If you saw that one,
oh yes,
yeah. So
it kind of a trip. Like I did not expect to see him like be a part of the Black Mirror universe.
Yeah. And did I say Black Mass or Black Mirror? I said Black Mass and Black Mirror, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. And he's in both and he's great and everything. And yeah, I mean, it's a supporting role. He doesn't show up until later in the film.
Yeah.
So De Niro is your solid supporting, if not co-lead, but they're going to run him as supporting. Lily Gladstone and DiCaprio are your leads, but this is a huge ensemble cast. I mean, so there are just so many great people that are worthy of recognition in this film.
Where's it sitting on the Lemma-meter then?
Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna go with probably an 8.5. I'm still batting back and forth this whole idea of length. If I saw the film again, and that's pretty daunting, thinking, okay, am I gonna sit for another
7 hours of your life?
Then maybe I'll start to dissect and say, was that really necessary? But honestly, everything just felt like it belonged. It wasn't excessive. Some pictures, some directors, they just want to throw around their clout. And certainly Scorsese has earned it.
Yeah, we did. We are getting a lot of feedback that the blooper reel that they put in the middle of the movie felt inappropriate.
No blooper reel.
Oh, sorry.
Can you imagine a movie like that, as much of a Debbie Downer movie as like that, having a blooper reel?
Right in the middle of the movie. They didn't even wait till the end. They said just a levity break.
The score is building, and all of a sudden, like Leonardo DiCaprio's like pulling somebody's pants down, like gotcha.
Oh, the cup breaks that they're holding. What the heck?
You know what's great though? Thinking about this movie, I mean, because DiCaprio and De Niro are such personalities as well. I mean, they are larger than life on screen and off screen, but they instantly convince you that they're characters, right? They're not, you don't say, oh, that's Robert De Niro playing such and such. No, this guy becomes King Hale, DiCaprio becomes Ernest Burkhart. That's, clearly that's why they team with Scorsese as much as they do. This is the 6th time for DiCaprio and the 10th time for Robert De Niro and Scorsese. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing movie.
Awesome. All right.
So that's all I got for this week. Quick recommendation. The Goosebumps has been rebooted. More kid friendly, but I think it's a little scarier. And there you go. She's wearing her witch's hat.
A witch's hat.
Full costume.
There you go.
Yes, you did. Yes, you're
That's
so
right.
good.
Hey,
So well.
even Jules gets a Halloween costume. I'm telling you, everybody celebrates Halloween around here. So
Jules is the MVP of the show this week. That's for sure.
I wish you could. Can you say something quick?
Jules, Jules is shy.
All righty. I have to run. I got another appearance to make, but you guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk next week.
Bye, Tim. Have a good one. Tim Lammers, brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant Personal Injury Lawyers. All right, why don't we take a break? When we'll be back, we're going to have Kristen Burt up next from Hollywood.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
It's Tom Barnard for Flagship Ford in Baldwin, Wisconsin. I'm happy to say I purchased an EV Mustang from Flagship and have friends and coworkers who bought new vehicles and used ones from this family-run dealership that's just 20 minutes west of the metro in Baldwin. Whether you want to compare their used car specials, claim Ford financing options, or simply book an oil change or tire rotation, they have you covered at Flagship Ford. New vehicles like the Ford Escape, the Edge, or F-150 pickups with special engine options. Flagship Ford can answer all your questions on your next new vehicle. The month of October is Tire Month at Flagship Ford. Fit your tires for your specific vehicle, any model car, truck, or SUV, and get your tires before the snow flies, just $5 over cost. That's a purchase of 4 new tires with a $70 rebate gift card on top of the $5 over cost on most brands of tires. Flagship Ford, east of the metro in Baldwin, Wisconsin, and online at flagshipford.com. That's flagshipford.com. Tom here, and I just read a success story from MN Fat Loss client Elizabeth, who just completed the program. Elizabeth writes, I'm a 54-year-old woman who has struggled with losing weight. I had almost constant heartburn, trouble sleeping, brain fog. I tried counting calories, eating bars and shakes, and several other programs in which I would lose 5 to 10 pounds after months of struggling. After 60 days of the MN Fat Loss program, I was down 25 pounds. MN Fat Loss had really empowered me to believe that I can control my eating and my weight without having to sacrifice foods that I like. If you're thinking about finally committing to improving your health, this is the time to start. You won't regret your investment in yourself. It's so easy to see if MN Fat Loss is a good fit for you. They offer a free phone consultation to learn about the program. They also have virtual options to help you if you live far away, which I think is a brilliant idea. To schedule that free phone consultation, go to mnfatloss.com. The only thing you have to lose is that unwanted weight. That's www.mnfatloss.com. I cannot wait to hear about your success story. And please let them know that Tom sent you.
Tom Barnard is back. Every weekday, you'll hear Tommy B, Brittany Arneson. Yes, that Brittany Arneson. Along with Tom's pals Kent Herbeck on Fridays, Bob Sansevier, Mike Stretch Gelfand, Tim Lammers, and from Channel 5 Eyewitness News, Chris Eggert and Kristen Burt on entertainment and pop culture. It's Tom and the crew with opinions on news, opinions on life, opinions on entertainment, and of course, opinions on other people's stupid opinions. The Tom Barnard Show is a podcast, so you can listen when you want to listen. In the car, on the way to or from work, at home, on the job site, or wherever you need your Tommy B Show fix. Hear the show on the Tom Barnard Show app in your app store, as a podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts, or see it on YouTube on the Tom Barnard Show channel.
There we go.
There we go.
I thought
I love the countdown, but it made me realize nobody was available to push the button, Tevin.
Okay, well,
You're fine. I feel like they was such a tease.
Yeah, he muted all,
Yeah.
the main thing, and
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
know.
realize it. So I'm a disaster. back
You're
here.
fine. I did like the tease. I like that they thought nobody was coming back, give them sort of an
Mhm.
abandonment issues. Kristen's ready to rock. Kristen, how the heck are you?
Hi. Well, where's the Tom Barnard Show without Tom Barnard?
Welcome to the Tevin and Brittany show.
No, we cannot call it that. That's the kiss of death. It's still the Tom Barnard Show. He just needed a day off today, so nothing bad happened to him. He's doing fine. Just need a personal day, so I'm sure he'll talk about it on Monday.
I missed the dress code though. Should I go change?
Yeah, we coordinated.
Well, you don't have. You can just grab something. I'm sure there's something pink within your reach.
It really is. Honestly, I can just pull something and throw it over.
We've met you. We know that you are a big fan of pink. Okay, so we've got so much going on right now in your world. What story do you want to start with?
I want to start off with the Halloween story. And I have a feeling, Tevin, you might know it because you've been keeping up with what's happening in Hollywood and the strike and all that craziness.
Yeah.
You guys know I am a SAG-AFTRA member. I am a part of the broadcasting unit that is not on strike, just so everybody knows. But we got a note yesterday, or an email, I should say, saying, hello, Halloween is coming up. We are asking you, and this is part of your new strike provisions, you are not allowed to dress in characters that are a part of the struck studios, meaning like Barbie, anyone from Oppenheimer. And they were making suggestions for us like, hey, you can dress as a ghost, or maybe just like a werewolf, but not like a Universal Studios werewolf, just like a generic werewolf.
Yeah. So I was reading about this too, and I thought that was so interesting. This article I read was going into detail. So there are some really tricky parts. So, for example, the Elvis movie. You can't dress like the Elvis movie from the 2022 big Elvis movie that had been made, but you can dress like Elvis from Priscilla, because they have was it
interim
Blumhouse?
agreement.
Yeah, who made that one? That was by, I forget, but they are the people.
Sofia Coppola.
Yeah, and but what was it? The producer it was A24 Films. Thank you. A24 Films. They actually abided by all the rules of that the strike wanted. So if you want to dress like Elvis from that movie, you can, but not Elvis from the big movie. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of weird distinctions you have to make going forward.
I have a question.
Yes.
Who cares if a SAG, like, what difference does it make? Like, who cares what a SAG member is dressing up as for Halloween? Like, shouldn't they be more focused on solving the strike than worrying about what people are going trick-or-treating in?
Yes. And I think I'll just give you kind of the optics of what SAG is thinking on this. Yes, we want to resolve this strike. We want to get people back to work. I mean, we were just talking numbers, I think, yesterday on the show, and just the devastation it's caused, not just for, overall the movie industry, but even just Los Angeles, because this is one of our main industries. It's that and tourism. So, when one thing goes, we're hurting over here in the city. We want them to resolve the strike. We want to get everyone back to work, also with a fair deal, of course. But I think that the optics of this, because, if it is licensed material, like let's say it's an official Mattel Barbie movie costume, some of that movie is going back to the studio. And I think it's just the optics of all of that. It's a little bit different than like if I took something from my closet and put it together and said, I'm, Cowboy Barbie or something like that.
Yeah.
But they really don't want, just like celebrities are not allowed to do interviews for most of the films that are out right now. They just don't want to give that studio a little extra edge. And we've all been talking about this all summer. Oh my gosh, the number one costume this year is going to be Barbie.
Or Wednesday might be a top runner as
Wednesday
well.
from Netflix.
Wednesday would be another great one. And that's another thing. Guess what? Can't dress as Wednesday. Can't dress as Megan. If anyone has seen all of the like Megan dolls at the Universal Studios for Halloween Horror Nights, that would be another great one. There's some really cool costumes that you could do this year, and we're not allowed to do them. And I get it. It seems like silly in terms of some of the regulations that we've had to abide by during the strike, but at the same time, I understand they just want to kind of like hit the studios as much as they can to get them to come back to the table and make a deal, because they are the ones who walked away on October 11th.
And let's say somebody does dress up in one of these non-recommended costumes. Do you think there will be backlash from the community to the point where they start to get exiled, or will it not be as severe?
I don't think that they're going to be exiled. I mean, technically they can punish you in some sort, put you up to like a review board and things like that. I just don't think that they have much bigger fish to fry. However, the social media outcry is definitely there. Selena Gomez, for example, wound up posting some type of clip that wasn't exactly related to Only Murders in the Building, but it kind of like alluded to the current season. And people on social media, including her fans, said, hey, you're not allowed to do this right now. So I appreciate that the fans are on the side of the actors and hoping that they get fair wages and a fair deal. Because really, honestly, Selena Gomez is fine, but it's the average working class actor we're fighting for. So you just have to be a little careful. And if you want to dress as Barbie, don't put it on social media.
I was planning. I'll have to put my Barbie costume away. That was going to be my Halloween costume.
I would never be generic enough to buy anything. Like I would always have it from my own or like to buy, never like the whole costume is from a bag costume. Like that's just not my.
No, the only time I did that was I went as like the Squid Game character when Squid Game was huge.
By yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I was working. I was DJing like a Halloween party, and so I just went as like the Squid Game.
I don't think I ever saw one Squid Gamer. So like the singular Squid Game of itself is very funny to me that like you didn't have one other person in Squid Games.
He was the only one remaining.
Right. I was the winner.
Rest in peace, Elliot.
Yeah, I'm so basic. I'm always like, let me get my cat ears and make some whiskers. So SAG is not going to worry about me.
Mine is a little iffy. It's a Snorlax onesie I bought like 6 years ago that I wear every year. So I don't know if I hope Pokemon is abiding by this strike rules, but
you can do because the animated contract is not on strike right now. You can do animated characters. So, like, hey, Daphne and, Velma and
well,
Scooby.
make sure you're not from the live action. Don't get
not from the live action movie, but if you want to do the cartoon version of them, you are more than welcome to do so.
Yeah, that's going to be some blurry lines. I definitely, it'll be interesting to see who abides by it and who doesn't.
I know there's going to be one celebrity that is just totally like doesn't open their emails. Totally. Their publicist hasn't given them the rundown and they're going to make a big mistake. It happens every year. There's always like one horrible celebrity that does something wrong, like the blackface situation that we always see once a year. Mm-hmm. I'm always like, people, come on. Yep. It's 2023. So this year it'll probably be the studio endorsed costumes. Someone's going to get in trouble.
That's the drama of it all. Anything else that's like burning in your forefront of your mind?
On one thing we've been talking about a lot. I'm going to bring up Taylor Swift because Tom's not here.
I love that process. That's why I was like, just get it all out, Kristen. This is the day.
Do it. No, and this really isn't necessarily her specifically, but Christopher Nolan acknowledged what Taylor Swift did. She has singularly, and I think like what I like to talk about on the show, we're in such a shift right now, and we're going to look back on these Tom Barnard shows and like what we talked about, because we're seeing such a dramatic shift in the landscape right now, and I'm glad that we have the space to talk about it. What Taylor Swift did is singularly going to change the industry in a big way, and Christopher Nolan, who did Oppenheimer and had great success this summer too, acknowledged that what she did was genius, because he's like, she's taking out the studio element of it. She's going directly to AMC. She's pocketing that money. And Christopher Nolan is a filmmaker who has those deep pockets that's going to have the ability to do something similar to what Taylor Swift is doing. Who doesn't want 57% of the profits? Right. Christopher Nolan would love 57% of Oppenheimer if he could. So we are going to watch some of these bigger players in Hollywood just take the studio completely out of the equation.
Especially like you said, there is something to be said. I mean, the whole world is ran by marketing, right? Like there's something to be said that you don't know every director's name, but you know Christopher Nolan, right? And like if he can cash in on that aspect of this is a Christopher Nolan, like the studios are cashing in on his name anyway. So why not just trust in the process that like your name and your projects have, can stand for themselves. That you could just skip the whole studio.
And you know what I'm thinking too, and I think you've had Michelle Mann on the show from Mann Theaters. They are willing to go the extra distance to make these movies special and happen. Yeah. And if they need to throw a little extra special event or put additional photo opportunities in the lobby, they're going to do it because it only benefits their bottom line. They're making more box office dollars because they're taking home about 43% of that box office instead of like a dwindling amount they get with the studios. You can brand, obviously, your concession merchandise. You can sell merchandise. This is a win-win for both sides. And I think that the theater owners are going to start taking notice going, who else can we work with?
I wonder if there's kind of resentment or if we'll see a shift into more, and I don't mean this is a good thing, but like leaning towards more camp because of this, because like Killers of the Flower Moon, you're not going to get an event feel with that. It's just like a very good but sad movie. And so like there's money to make in camp. And I wonder if we're going to kind of lose out on some of these like epic tales with people that don't trust their the name to carry them.
Yeah, with new innovations, there's always there's cons to all of this
Yeah.
too. And, a Martin Scorsese film, we know that this is going to be a huge award show player.
Yeah.
And some people will go for that. Other people are going to completely ignore this movie because it's 3 hours and 46 minutes. It's really long.
Yeah.
And people will wait maybe till it reaches, streaming and things like that. But Scorsese still has enough of a name. Leonardo DiCaprio is in it. That is enough to get people to the box office. So I think that type of movie might be okay. But I always think about the ones that are like just below that. The
Yeah.
ones that maybe have a director who's on the rise, doesn't have that established name by Scorsese. Are we going to miss out on those? And that's going to be a wait and see sort of situation, but it's quite a possibility.
Yeah, it is so interesting. And you're right. Like with the change in the tide, the experience theater, there's going to be, and of course, just like anything right now, we're really in it. There'll eventually be the backlash and then the backlash to the backlash. So like maybe it will eventually hit, that point of we're kind of done with dressing up and going to the theater. Now we want serious movies. So could go either way with it.
Yeah, movies are cyclical in what we favor and what we want to go and see. But I think the underlying message in all of this, the studios are a little bit behind in what moviegoers want. And you just have people like Taylor going, I got an idea. And Beyonce's like, you know what? That's a great idea. I'm going to do it too. And I'm going to support you. And these are the people we need to step up in Hollywood to keep, arts moving forward. And I think it's mind blowing to think the amount of shift we've had in the last 3-4 years with a global pandemic, 2 strikes going on concurrently, the sort of bust of the streaming bubble going, this isn't a financial model that works. These 3 together are a perfect storm. And this is where we're going to see these people who are like, I've got an idea, let's give this a try, rise to the top.
Do you think there's a faster, because the turnaround for Taylor Swift filming, editing, and putting this out as a product was so quick. Do you think that a studio could have done that? Or do you think that was just the model in general? Like that could have been done? Or do you think it was because of her skipping out on the studio?
Because she skipped out on the studio, she was able to get it to the theaters faster. And that was one of the contention points, or points of contention, I should say. And it was her dad who was like, hey, we don't want to wait until there's an open hole in the schedule, because that's what studios do. They go, here, we have this map of our movies for the next 5 years. And these are the big weekends that we've already earmarked. And we don't want it to conflict with this movie and that movie.
Yeah.
And Taylor said, you know what? No, I want this particular date because it's significant to me and my fans.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when we wanted to get it out. And that's when her dad said, all right, we got to pivot here. And look, she got it out quickly. She did a date that, means a lot to the Swifties. And then on top of all of this, she bypassed waiting until 2025 to come out at that ideal time for the studios, not for Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the music approach. Like when she releases an album, she's not checking in with a studio like, oh, well, let's make sure it doesn't interfere with anybody else's. I'm Taylor Swift. Let me just drop this.
And
now.
that's
so
only
do that with the movie.
That's only been her last 4 albums, because now she's made her own label. But before, she did have to check in and make sure. And so, you're right. And again, this is the model to help with people that have that pull and all that financial backing to do this themselves. But that is interesting.
And I hope that with, obviously your big name directors where they could just go straight to the theater and they'll be like, yeah, we'll just take your word for it. And here's the film. Hopefully the second tier that instead of them getting looked over, maybe the studios now work with that second tier more. And it almost develops that. So then they can one day grow up big and strong and just release it on their own.
Or kind of have to do the model that Nike did with Jordan, is put money into people and hope. You know what I mean? That would be very interesting. We're talking about kind of what benefits we'd see with that. And you're right. Maybe the studios would kind of have to take gambles and really push names that normally, or stories that don't get told as much from,
Yeah, I was just thinking like a development deal, and like that is going back to an old studio model of like the MGM days of like where you really develop a talent. And to add to Tevin's point, just going back on the music side, and I'm just this like kind of popped in my head. I almost think that Scooter Braun buying her catalog, it was probably the impetus for all of this too. Like the anger and the emotion of him buying her catalog kind of out from underneath her has probably inspired her to just be like, F y'all.
Yeah.
I'm doing this my way. She did it with music. Now she did it with her concert film. And it's fascinating.
It's not only that too. She was testing the waters, making a re-recording of albums we've heard a million times, and her seeing the response, like putting out Red, an album I've listened to a million times, the original version, and then having read Taylor's version and seeing that she has an audience that will follow her anywhere, who will listen to songs that she re-recorded, 5 years later and going, yeah, I will make this, we will listen to this so much. It will become a re-recording from an album made 10 years ago. We will put to number one because you re-recorded it. That had to inspire her to take leaps and jumps that maybe she wouldn't take, because she's going, I have this core audience who has a huge, my win is their win kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So like, that's where she's like, you know what? I'll put a movie out of a concert that most of my Swifties, went to, or whatever, for the Swifties that didn't get to go to or that want to go to again. So you're right, Kristen. I do think that Scooter Braun making her so angry has like the precipice for so many chain reactions that we're seeing.
I almost can feel like 5 years from now, if Behind the Music existed or something, we would get this entire special of like Scooter Braun and what he did to Taylor Swift and like how this all played out, because I think that this is going to just spawn an even bigger empire for Taylor, for Beyonce, and for other artists that are able to follow this model.
We were talking about this a little bit this week, but the year of the memoir feels like that we are currently in it, and it's going to be extending into 2024 as well. I saw that Dolly Parton had a 3-book deal. She's officially putting out her second one. The first one was like stories and lyrics. The second one is stories and fashion. Do we think, and Dolly Parton's would be enthralling because this woman has grown up as a sex symbol in one of the most sexist industries, and you can't even imagine probably the stories. Do we think that Dolly Parton would do a tell-all autobiography?
I feel like she wouldn't, or if she does, it's going to be after she passes.
Okay.
I know she's got like the juiciest stories, and Saint Dolly is too good and too pure for this earth to spill the tea while she is alive. I don't think she's interested in burning bridges. I really feel like, I know Tom, I can hear Tom right now, like, when are both sides gonna get along? But she is the type of person, whatever you believe, you still love Dolly. She is too good for this world.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally bubble wrap her and protect her at all costs, because we need her for as long as we can, because she is like the goodness, and we need to idolize and worship that when it comes to like entertainers in Hollywood.
Yeah. And with these memoirs, if I never hear Jada Pinkett Smith's name again, it'll be too soon. Every time I scroll through Instagram or look up like stories online, it's like she's saying something else. Like people are joking now, like her next announcement is going to be she's never even met Will Smith. Because
no, it's wild. And then we have to touch on this. So she's coming out saying, I've lied to you guys for years on a show, my Facebook Live Red Table Talk, where I claim that I was a tell-all. Everybody has to be honest, come to the table, be real. Now, do we trust a woman who is just exposed that she's been lying to us about one of the main facets of her life? What?
And on top of it, he showed up at her event. Will Smith showed up to support her at a live event the other day. And now she's saying, I think I'm ending the tail end of our separation. Like she's thinking she has a small house that, she has, and they don't really live together anymore. She's like, I think, I might be selling it. I think maybe we're working on this. Like the memoir maybe has inspired them to work on their marriage.
Or is this all just a setup from the beginning? Like I'm going to release this memoir, and then now all of a sudden magically we're getting back together.
Magic. She is claiming that the slap saved her marriage. What? The slap. She saw her husband assault a man on one of the most viewed live shows.
Global event.
And she's saying that may have saved her marriage. And I think that's where we're talking about. They have realized they have to spin this. I don't think they even realized how much this slap was going to take down, their family and now
their careers too.
And their careers and have to I think that they had to spin this, and this is their whole tactic. It's why he's going along with everything, because at the end of the day, she's going to claim like, hey guys, this is where we were at and how dark things were. And this is why the slap was worth it.
Yeah. And it's so bizarre. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kristen.
Oh, no, go ahead, Tevin.
I was just saying, it's so bizarre to me because it felt like both of them were kind of out of the spotlight. Like Will Smith wasn't really on the tip of anybody's tongue, and like Jada Pinkett Smith, for sure, nobody was really talking about her. And then all of a sudden you just come up on stage, slap Chris Rock. Now you've got this memoir, you're taking all the headlines, and now your 7-year separation is magically ending as well at the same time. It feels all very choreographed.
And they're both threatening to write a book together.
Yeah.
So, there's more to come. And I don't know why the Smiths don't necessarily understand, like, there is such a thing as TMI.
Yeah.
Like, we love a dishy, like, tell-all book, but they've been telling all for years now. We're tired.
And they're not telling all. That's the thing, is either they're lying to us then or they're lying to us now. They're really telling us nothing. Like, that's the end of the day is there's these two categories of people. And I don't think these worlds should mix. You have your reality stars, your people who don't care. They'll show it all. And like who the Trisha Paytas,
Right,
the
Kim Kardashian.
Now Kim Kardashian's in a different realm of like controlled. And then there's the people where I put you in the royal family, where they always control the spin. Even when they pretend it's a tell-all, it's not. They get final edit, all the things. I want to watch them act or do whatever they do. And I want to watch my reality stars show us all the pimples, show us all the things, because I don't trust that the high-end celebrities give me that. I think it's all, fake. And, even the Kardashians, they'll say, I'll show you this wound to hide the fact that my arm is falling off. You know what I mean? They give you enough of something to hide something else. And that's where I go, the royal family of it all, of you're not telling me all. You're not even showing me, the diarrhea that you had on vacation, which is fine. But like, I don't like when those worlds try to pretend to mix.
Yeah, and it's true. And it's problematic if you're doing a reality show and all of a sudden you're an executive producer. I understand why they want to be executive producers and have that final say on the edit. But again, you're getting a filtered, curated view of their lives at that point.
Yeah. And it feels like that. Like, I don't watch the Kardashians on a regular basis, but when I go watch it, everything about them feels curated, even though they all show arguments and show some like where you go, this is some dysfunction here or left or, over. At the end of the day, it feels too curated for me to watch. Like, it feels very produced.
It all feels like that. Like, my girl loves watching like Selling Sunset, whatever reality type stuff. And they'll be like sitting down in some bar having like a juicy conversation because Ashley called me a stupid head yesterday. And it's like, this whole thing just feels overly produced. Like, this is not a natural adult conversation.
But you can love Selling Sunset for what it is. And I watch it and laugh so hard when they show up in these outfits. And I go, if I showed up and my realtor was wearing, they had that like belt thing that was
tiny thing.
And like half their tit is out. You're like,
crop tops.
I'm fine. I love skin. Show as much skin as you'd like. But like, I'm trying to walk through this house and you can't keep up with your 8-inch heels you're currently wearing. Ma'am, we have a driveway to walk down.
The beautiful like gauzy lens that Selling Sunset and Selling the OC deliver to us, it's a soap opera. Like, when people go, why don't people watch daytime soaps? I'm like, because we've been given a more glamorous look with some of those Netflix reality shows.
If you watch this and next time that she watches Selling Sunset, this is the job I want. They have these songs that they made, and they're just ridiculous. And so sometimes me and Justin will pause it, and Justin will be like, okay, try to make up one for this scenario. It's like, they just had lunch and a girl like is walking out in her power suit. And it's like, I'm a boss ass bitch with my shit together. Gonna run this town in LA, baby. And like, that's literally the music set to like Some
royalty-free beat.
Oh, it's amazing. Royalty-free.
It's a genius way around all of the licensing fees because they don't have to worry about it. It's all original music for them, and they can show these reruns for years.
It's like, and I walk when I walk, and I go where I go. And you're like, how? I could make this music.
It's just a song that's narrating what's currently going on.
Yes. I put my socks on before my shoes, and you know that. And you know that.
And he doesn't love me anymore.
You broke my heart at a coffee shop. They're like, yeah, that happened to me just now. It's so good. Like, if you just enjoy Selling Sunset for what it is.
Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. Like, it's good for anybody that likes the show. It's just not, I'm not the demographic that Selling Sunset is trying to reach.
And Kristen, I bet you can see this so hard when they have a character expose something, like, you know, someone will sit down and be like, did you guys hear that Emily went to the coffee shop with Tristan? And like, you're like, that person just got told that at some point they have to say this line. They're so scared to forget it.
Yep.
They literally say it right away.
Well, because my favorite part is there was an episode where one of the ladies was like friends with the arch enemy of the other lady, and she's sitting in this bar just having a mental breakdown, screaming at everybody. Like, it's so ridiculous to watch it on all.
It's delicious. And, you know, the Oppenheimer group, it's run by the two tiny twins, Brett and Jason, who must be my height. I haven't seen them in person, but I can't imagine they're taller than 5'3".
Kristen, the best moment in producing history. Tell me if this makes your top list. There's a couple, and there's one that's amazing. It was during the Scandival when Ken comes in at Lisa Vanderpump's house, and Ken is like this old man who isn't involved with any of the drama. And Katie, who's one of the main players, is sitting there, and they're going to go through the recipes of their new sandwiches. And it's Katie and Lisa Vanderpump. And Ken goes, out of nowhere, this old man wanders into this kitchen and goes, can you believe that Raquel stayed over at Tom's house last night? And then like wanders off with the dog.
And he was like, Sandoval. He was like, Sandoval. And there's Katie with the sandwich in her mouth, and she's like, oh,
what? It was like the producers finally found out, whispered in Ken's ears to like drop this news. It was so hilarious, and you could just tell.
Or it's like, can't you just picture Lisa behind the scenes? Ken, I need you to say this. Repeat after me. Repeat this one line.
Practices, and then literally, immediately, can you believe? All right, bye. Hello?
And when people ask, like, why is this show being nominated for an Emmy for the first time? I'm like, it is this. It is like those juicy little moments. They got one for editing because obviously they had to change the entire storyline at the last minute. So the editors did an incredible job. But the show overall was also nominated. And if it doesn't win, I'm going to be shocked because I voted for it. I'm a voting member. I think it's just fantastic because they took a very tired show.
Yeah.
Been on for 10 seasons and took a storyline and made it into absolute pop culture magic.
The only way I can try to give you guys an image, it'd be like if I told Tom, like, come in here and be like, can you believe that Taylor Swift has been dating Travis Kelce or was spotted at the Chiefs game? It would be just like that. Him saying it and immediately halfway through being bored with himself and walking out.
It's like those moments where you're like, oh, what was that? Like, you pretend you heard something from somebody. Yeah,
you got to mess up the line just like a little bit because I think he called him like, it wasn't like Sandoval. It came out a little weird too. So
super weird.
Yeah, super weird. So Tom would do that and like he would mess up Taylor Swift's name or something.
Oh, it was just so beautiful.
Like,
we
drop the bomb and exit.
But it was so funny. Oh, Kristen, you just brought so much joy to my heart today.
Here to wrap up the week on a good note.
On a great note. Well, thank you so much, Kristen, and we'll see you on Monday, right?
Have a great weekend. See you Monday.
All right, we'll be right back to wrap up the Tom Barnard Show.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought, we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine, five.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
Yeah, baby. We are back on the Tom Barnard Show. Tevin, we had like 45 people. Now it's just you and I.
Oh, no. And then there were two.
Who's going to survive?
It's just me and you sitting here all day to see who's the first to blink and leave.
I would be. I have to probably go have a life.
You're right. Do you have any exciting plans for this weekend?
That's
What you're looking forward to?
Really good question. And I think the answer is no. We have a family coming in on Saturday. They're going to go to a U of M volleyball game. My husband's sister. So my sister-in-law and my niece, Cassidy. So they're going to come in tomorrow, and then we're gonna hang out with them too. How about you?
DJing a couple weddings this weekend. So
how many?
Just two this weekend, Friday, today and tomorrow. So yeah, if anybody needs a wedding DJ, holla at your boy. But
well, not you because you're busy.
Well, yeah, I mean they can start booking me for next year. But and then so Sunday, because I haven't had a day off in like a month and a half.
Are there a lot of Sunday weddings?
Not too many. The last two Sundays I've had weddings, but for the
Sunday
most part,
night or are they Sunday afternoons?
like, yeah, afternoons, early night. They usually end around like 9 o'clock or so.
Yeah, that's a lot to ask people to be out at night on Sundays.
Yeah. So Sunday on my first day off in forever. So I put together a list. I know she's not listening, so I'll say it on air. I put together a list of like date ideas in like 3 categories. Right. And I had my girlfriend pick a letter, color, and number. And so like in each one corresponded with a different date thing. So now we're good to Sunday afternoon when she gets done working. We're going to go on a little date day. We're going to the Minnesota Salt Caves, which is supposed to be super like relaxing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then we're going to go get sushi at Billy's Sushi.
Yum.
And then probably go get a drink at this place in Uptown called Fool Me Once, which is like this cowboy alien bar that's out there. So.
Oh my God.
I'm a romantic.
You're not like, and you're a planner and she has no idea about any of it?
No, she was like, I was like, you remember when I told you to pick like a number, color, letter? She's like, yeah. I was like, well, that's like what our date is. So it was like 3C white or something like that. And so that's what we're doing.
Listen, I attack men a lot, like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like half my day is attacking men. It's why my husband knows I'll probably never cheat on him because I'm just constantly attacking men and it's just not the vibe then to go. Right. But I'll tell you this, there's something so amazing about when I don't plan something. Like I plan everything all the time, always. And so the times that my husband has been like, hey, I got this, like, we'll just be ready at 6.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever happened, but if it does, I'd be so pumped about it. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. It should be fun.
Will you like tell her what to wear, or will you give her a heads up what the thing is?
Yeah, I'll just tell her what to wear and then probably have her just like follow me around uptown.
Like, will she be driving with a blindfold on?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not going to blindfold her.
Blindfold and drive. You have a Tesla, so I assume that's fine. Like, you blindfold her and drive
itself.
That would really add spice if you blindfold her and tell her she's driving. I love it. I want to give you this news because it's very important. We are 11 days away from Halloween, which feels insane. What day of the week does Halloween fall on this year? Is
Tuesday.
All right. That's okay, I guess.
No.
There was this big petition going on about Halloween should always be the last Saturday in October, and I love that.
Yeah, that would make more sense. But I mean, with how it is now, people just end up celebrating both weekends, I feel like.
Yeah, you're thinking a 20-year-old. Like, your 20-year-ld people are 30.
But for kids, it sucks.
There are fun events, though. Like, you can go to, like, they do, like, they do trick-or-treating at different malls and things. And, like, 50th in France does a big trick-or-treating thing. And I bet... So when it kind of falls in that, we get a fun event the weekends leading prior. I'm going to a wedding on the weekend prior, which I'm actually really excited about.
You're going to dress up?
No.
Show up in like a Barbie?
No, I'm probably going to dress up like for a wedding. I think it would be so...
You should show up.
I'm a girl. It's like one of my best friends' wedding, and I'm so excited. It would be hilarious to do full cat makeup, like... Meow.
You show up as like a sexy cat.
A sexy nurse cat. Thank you very much. Did all of them. I'm actually a doctor. Thank you. So Halloween's coming up quick, and it's terrifying. It had people asking the question, can you eat the pumpkins you carve into jack-o'-lanterns? Have you ever thought about that?
Like the insides of
eat the pumpkin. Yeah.
I'm not eating any pumpkin. I hate pumpkin.
You're not eating pumpkin pie ever?
No. I'll give me sweet potato pie.
Sweet potato pie is really good. Well, fun fact about when you buy the cans of pumpkin, if you look at the ingredients, it's not even all pumpkin.
Oh, no, that doesn't surprise me at all.
According to food safety experts, no, you can use a pumpkin as cooking ingredients or as decoration, but never as both. Pumpkins are a low acid vegetable, so once they're cut and sit at room temperature, pathogens will grow rapidly on the skin. We're not usually following proper food handling procedures when we're carving pumpkins, stuff like washing hands before carving, washing the pumpkin, carving them on clean surfaces, and using clean tools. So you could eat the pumpkin if you decorate it without cutting into it by drying it or whatever you want to do, or just even have it sit out. But even then, bigger carving pumpkins aren't ideal for eating since they usually don't have the best flavor or texture. The one thing you can do after a pumpkin, do you ever do this, is you roast the seeds?
I haven't carved a pumpkin probably since I was in like second grade.
My mom never had us carve pumpkins. We painted them.
Yeah, like it's just like it's all slimy and gross on the inside. Like I don't really mess with Halloween like that.
So here's the thing about carving pumpkins. In theory, it's going to be a blast. My sister always hosts a big party. We carve pumpkins. But it always starts out as a kid picks the most elaborate piece of paper and puts it on there, stabs it one time, and is like, I'm not doing the rest of it. And then every parent or uncle or like whoever gets roped into it, sitting there carving the rest of the pumpkin because it's super boring and hard to carve a pumpkin. Right. So like as kids, my mom was like, I want the kids involved and to have fun. So she would just take out paint and we would just paint faces on the pumpkin. And I have great memories of like painting a pumpkin.
Yeah, no, my girlfriend, she saw somebody post where they like carved the pumpkin and then wore it as a hat. And she's like, I want to do that. And I'm like, she's like, we need to go to a pumpkin patch so I can carve these two. We can both carve a pumpkin and we'll take pictures to put on. I'm like, I want nothing to do with that. That is my
so ambitious. First off, does the full thing go on your head or just the top?
No, it was like
a mask.
The whole thing. Like you can't see your face and it's carved out. And I was like,
oh no.
I was like, yeah, the picture looks cool, but I am not partaking in that.
That is like my own personal version of hell is having a pumpkin falling on my head. Like That is, ever since I got an MRI, I realized I'm actually quite claustrophobic. I didn't used to be. I don't know, like what in old age made that click in my brain. But the idea of no, the hell that would make me feel.
And now your head probably smells like pumpkin for a day.
It's always a little wet.
Yep.
No, I don't love it. But I do enjoy, as long as there's not kids around. Like I've been to adult carving pumpkins party.
Mhm.
That's a cooler vibe because you can kind of sit in your little corner and work on it and like put a lot of time and effort and not worry about leaving a knife out for a child to grab. But don't ever, they come with these flimsy ass sets where you have this little like shark, like it's like a what are those sharks? The sharks with the big.
Oh, like the saw. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like
God.
You're talking about like a knife. Essentially, it looks like a chainsaw type of thing.
That they come with that with the little like it's usually an orange plastic handle.
Yep.
You get that thing in 4 carves. That handle's broken up, and what you have there is useless. You can't palm that.
So what do you use? I assume you don't use like your kitchen knife.
Use real tools. Yeah.
Right.
Use real beautiful tools like a kitchen knife, or you can use a drill, or anything over like the little plastic sets you get.
I feel like I would use a Sawzall. Like, do you know what that is?
I do know what a Sawzall is, and that would be a great thing to bring to the game.
Yeah. So
You didn't think I was going to compliment you.
No,
You were thrown off.
I was like, I don't know. I hope she has a Sawzall take because we're trying.
We have a full-on table saw in our garage, and I would be happy to attempt to use that on a pumpkin because.
Or I've seen people use like the water jets where you like can use water to cut pumpkins.
See.
Like people get pretty advanced in there.
But there's prep involved in that. Like you'd have to carve out the things before you attack it with a power sprayer.
Yeah. Did you see Minnesota's largest pumpkin that's like on tour right now is going to go to the Mall of America at some point?
No, but can you imagine the pressure to move that bad boy?
And it doesn't even like really look like a pumpkin. It looks like a very large pumpkin melted into like a half puddle because it's so big it can't like support itself. So it's just kind of like this blah.
There is like a line you can follow to like pumpkin to grotesque. Like it's almost like we're enjoying obesity on pumpkin form.
Right. And I wonder, like, because I'm assuming people try to grow a big pumpkin, but there's not really, you can't like will your pumpkin to get huge. You know what I mean? So I think you just luck into it. And then now you're known as the pumpkin guy.
I think it's what I have to end this podcast on. It's all about manifesting your pumpkin.
Yes. So everybody this weekend, thank you for sticking with us.
Thank you.
Manifest a great pumpkin, a large pumpkin, like the Charlie Brown sized pumpkin.
And manifest yourself a great weekend. Thank you so much. That was the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Sans Tom Barnard, but he'll be back Monday. Don't worry. He's doing great. He just needed a personal day. Okay. Let it be. All right. I love you. Bye.
Bye.